Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. We got a bunch of interesting things to talk about, mainly regarding the current political show trial we had. It seemed that was quite popular with everybody. We'll get into that a little bit. And we'll talk about some other interesting and actual some fun stuff today. We definitely want to put that in. Some happy news is also always good. Glad to have you guys with us. Thank you again. Do us a favor. Definitely go over and hit that share button and that like button so that we can get more people in here, and we certainly appreciate you. And I'm going to go over there and do that now. We got a few minutes before Thunder comes in, but that's okay. Hopefully, you guys had yourself a really good weekend. And let me kind of, sorry about this. I forgot to bring this over. I do apologize, kind of screwing up my intros, but it is what it is. Let me bring this back up real quick here. There we go. All right. Yeah, no, I had a really good weekend. Hope you guys did too. I actually kind of stayed ahead of home. I had a kind of rather quiet weekend. I see there's a new movie coming, which I'm going to check it out. Jeepers Creepers, Reborn. I love the first two. The third one, we shouldn't talk about it. The fourth one, or is this the fifth one? Probably isn't going to be much better. But I did love Jeepers Creepers, so definitely going to check that out. But I also went and had myself some lunch with the wife. We're kind of checking out another city next to the northern one, and trying to check out all their cuisine and stuff. And I went to a Chinese restaurant. The food was okay. In general, it was fine. But one of my favorite Chinese dishes is something that's called san latin, and in English we call it hot and sour soup. I don't know if that's something you guys like. I know in America, wonton soup is much more popular. However, I love san latin when it's done correctly, and it is a soup that has some sourness to it, but it's also got some spiciness to it, and it should have a little sweetness to cut that vinegar acid, right? But I have never tasted anything as sour in my life as the soup they put on my table. I mean, the other food was fine. It was just the one thing, the soup, which of course came out first. It was the insanely sour. I mean, it's like taking 1,000 lemons and dropping in your mouth at the same time. I don't know even how they were able to accomplish this. They did, but it was crazy sour. I always kind of talk about the little things I chew on here on the weekends because my wife and I are foodies, and we do enjoy doing that. I'm kind of curious with you guys listening. Do you are you restaurant people, or are you only eat at home? I mean, Monday through 6 days a week. We eat at home, of course. Uh, and it's only once a week we go out to eat. But are you guys like that, or are you eat at home only? I know here in Japan, we got plenty of people who only eat at home. They never go out to a restaurant ever. And that's weird for me. I can't even imagine that here in Japan. Whereas if you go over to other countries like, say, China, most people eat out every day. I mean, it's kind of how it is, right? But let's see here. Roger says, yes, I did as well, Chester. Thank you very much. Okay, he says you're becoming a what we call here in the States as a foodie. Yeah, no, I've been that way for a long time, dude. Yeah, I do love food, and I love going to restaurants and finding new interesting stuff and trying new cuisine. I mean, I'll try anything. I'm very finicky in reality, but I will try anything. So Dave says, "What was sour?" Just came in. I got some hot and sour soup, san laten, but I've never had anything in my life that sour, dude. And I like sour, right? I mean, they have a thing over here called umeboshi, which is a pickled sour plum, and I love them. I like sour stuff, but this was insanity level. I mean, it literally stuck with us for a long time after we left that restaurant. We had to go get like this sickly syrupy honey toast dessert at another place just to get it out of our mouth, man. I've never seen anything like that. Let's see. Roger says, I cook and eat at home because if I eat out too much, I start to get sick. Really? Well, I mean, we only eat out once a week. I mean, we eat here otherwise. But we also eat very simply. Living here, we we're lucky. Well, many countries are, because in America, one of the problems you have is you have way too much corn syrup in everything, right? And that's because they subsidize corn in America, and here in Japan they subsidize rice, and I'm sure every country has this for the farmers. But they have so much dirt cheap corn they don't know what to do with, so they sell it to everybody and they put it in everything. And this isn't really good for you, right? This type of sugar isn't good for you, especially in high quantities. Where we don't have that over here, we don't have corn syrup in anything really. So and we tend to eat more whole foods here. So if you're in the States, and it's probably better to get as many whole foods as possible, and eat that most of the time, and then you can go splurge on the weekends. What we do. And of course, my wife and my children never had any trouble with weight anyway. They can eat ton. They eat way more than I do, and they don't gain weight. I'm the one that has to be careful about how much I eat. But I seem to not have much trouble over here. It was much more difficult in America, I guarantee you that. I have a bit of uh, uh, a sweet tooth, and in America, that's a bad thing. I can't remember, was is Drake's pies, I think they're called, and the Drake's apple pie you can get at the convenience store. Oh my God, dude, absolutely murder me. I love those things though. They got a Boston cream one too. Oh my God, cherry pies. I think they're called Drake pies, and they're stunningly good. But it's literally, injecting poison into your body directly. You know, it is what it is. But we do enjoy going out. And we always kind of prepare when we go to, because I go to the big cities like Tokyo or Hiroshima or stuff like that, from time to time throughout the year, just for work and stuff. And we always try to plan out what we're going to try and what we're going to eat. We kind of enjoy that quite a bit. My wife and I love watching movies, but we don't necessarily have the same taste in movies necessarily. Sometimes it collides. She loves Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. She likes that kind of stuff. But one of the things we always have in common is good food, and our tastes aren't so dissimilar. So that's something we really, really enjoy together. But to each his own, I guess. But I just could not believe how damn sour that was, man. I've eaten so many foods in so many countries, and I've never had anything attack me like that. I mean, I took literally, I could only eat a spoon of the soup, and then I took my chopsticks and I tried to eat just a piece of the cabbage, and I was done. I was done. So that whole dish just stood there, didn't get touched by, because she got hit too. So Drake's cakes, yeah, I think that's what it is, Dave. But they're in the convenience store, I remember, and they're deadly good, man. Goose with a chef's hat and is the mascot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is, Dave. I love those things, but boy, they are not good for you, man. They are not good. I'd always get one of those and a Yoo-hoo. Now, Yoo-hoo's good for you, actually. It's mainly vitamins and stuff. Oh, I love Yoo-hoo. I haven't had a Yoo-hoo in 20 years, dude. Dave, can you believe that? 20 years I have not had a Yoo-hoo, man. That's unbelievable. Oh, well. I do love them, though. So I'm assuming it is Drake, yeah. But I love those little pies. I also like the whatchamacallit and the Reese's Pieces. Ooh, Little Debbie, of course, not a good thing. Hostess, not a good thing. These are all, very American things, but which we all grew up on. But you don't really want to eat those things very often. However, I do occasionally on the weekend stop and get a little sweet thing. This weekend we got some German style donuts, and we enjoyed them over coffee. One thing that we do here that I had never seen before, but it's like the standard thing everyone does, and I think Westerners might want to adopt it. I think it's a good idea. Uh, when my kids were small, of course we still do it, but when my kids were little, and when we would have dessert after dinner, it was usually fruit more than being a cake or something. But what instead of just taking a fruit per person or something like that, just cutting it up, put it in a plate, my wife would take an apple or a peach or a pear or whatever, and just kind of cut it up at the kotatsu here. It's like a little low. It's like a coffee table slash warming thing that the Japanese use. And she just cut up the fruit and just kind of hand a piece to each person in the room. So we'd literally share a piece of fruit, not four pieces of fruit. And that's a very normal thing to do over here. I never seen it before, but it works out pretty well because I mean, dessert isn't about eating; it's about taste, right? Getting a little bit of a sweet taste, and I think that works out really well. I like that system, and of course it's very family oriented because you're all sitting around a table just kind of sharing it. So. Anyway, we are waiting for Thundero. He said he'd be a little bit late. I was a little bit late today too because I was really trying to look for happy news, something happy to talk about. I did find a couple things, but it's boy, there's not a lot of happy news right now, man. Lots of unhappiness, and I kind of hope you guys give me some information because I'm disjointed from what's going on in the West. And I know with the Rittenhouse trial, him being found now guilty, which he shouldn't even been in court. I mean, come on. But were there fires? Were there rioting? Was there trouble? I don't know. German style donuts make the other donuts go in the oven. Yeah, no, they're cooked in the oven. That's true. But I like German style donuts. They're good. I mean, I like donuts in general if you can get a good one. Um, and there's not a lot of good donuts here, but there is a German style place that makes them, and they're pretty good. You know, but not to talk about pies and stuff because I only really eat sweets on the weekend. During the week, I don't. If I want a snack during the week, I usually just grab a cucumber or carrot or a piece of celery or something, just kind of chew on it. If in general, I don't eat after 9 o'clock too. But as you get older, you kind of got to do these things anyway. But I usually only have sweets on the weekend, and we weren't planning on any kind of sweets this weekend. We just got, I don't know if you ever had them. They basically take like a third of a loaf of bread, is basically what they do. And then they put like, they kind of hollow out the center a little bit, and they put ice cream and they make like a sundae in it with chocolate and honey with the bread, and you just kind of I don't know if you ever had it over there, but it's very popular here. It's not bad. It's kind of sweet. I'm not huge. I'm not big into candy sweets, but it has that because with the honey and the chocolate, it kind of brings it to a edible level. But it was just mainly to get that damn sour out my mouth, man. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, Thunder is running late, but I'll go ahead and start talking about some stuff here. I should probably share it, so let me go ahead and get that done while we're waiting for him to show up. And I already showed the one thing, so I might as well talk about it. That's my happy news anyway. So let's go ahead and get to it. All right. Okay, got that checked. All right, here we go. All righty. So, first news we got today, very happy news. Mel Gibson confirms Lethal Weapon 5 moving forward will direct film at behest of original franchise director Richard Donner, who of course has passed on. And that's a good thing. I mean, we've all enjoyed Lethal Weapon over the years. There wasn't any of those that was bad. I mean, all four of them were good, really enjoyable. Um, it's rare to have a series that they're all good like that because they usually kind of, fall down pretty quickly. But Lethal Weapon didn't. They're very interesting and unique in and of themselves. Mel Gibson, of course, since has really gone on to prove that he's just an amazing director. I mean, he really is a good director. So him directing a Lethal Weapon film, wow. I kind of feel the last one was a really good send off. I don't think we really need a Lethal Weapon 5. But if everyone in it's still alive and I don't know, pass the torch or something like that, I'm not sure what they're planning on doing. But simply because of the IP and of course, Gibson directing, I don't know that I can not watch it. He is showing up in a few things recently, and some things are really good. And of course, I'm going to be watching here this week probably. His Boss Level, I think it's called. He just plays the bit bad guy in it. It's not a big role, but I'm going to be watching that. So, this is pretty good news, I think. Let me see here. He would be the only choice as director. Yeah, no, in this case, I agree 100%. But I just really didn't imagine that he becomes this amazing director, but he did. So I think it's cool. See the gang again. It could be fun. I know my wife wanted because my wife loves Lethal Weapon, of course. And There was a TV show that came out a few years back, and she wanted to watch it, so we watched it together. But man, that was unbearable. I mean, it was talk about not understanding the subject matter. We see that a lot these days, though, don't we? I thought he was getting too old for this shit. Dude, he's been too old for that shit for a long time. That's what I mean. I don't know what they'll do because in the last one, the fourth one, they wrapped it up nice. I mean, they had a kid, the Joe Pesci, hey, family, all that kind of stuff. They wrapped it up so well. They really don't need a fifth one. They really don't. But I'll take it, because these days our expectations have certainly lowered. I mean, people are having great fun with very mediocre movies, and fair enough because I mean everything else is so political and nonsense that if you get something that's say a 5 or a 6, people are happy. Like Ghostbusters one, from all accounts, the movie has a lot of flaws, particularly in the third act, but it's just a standard, straightforward, fun movie. So people are loving it, which I get, and I will check it out soon. Um, my wife and I did watch a movie this weekend, but it wasn't a new one. We watched the R.I.P.D., which has got Ryan Reynolds. It's got Jeff Bridges in it, and Kevin Bacon. And there's a rule: there is no bad movie with Kevin Bacon. Now, of course, that R.I.P.D. movie bombed really bad. It lost like 130, 160 million dollars. I mean, just ridiculous failure. No one liked it. Everyone hated it, which I don't get because I've seen the movie a few times now, and my wife saw it for the first time last night. Yeah, last night, and she didn't get it either. It's a good little fun popcorn movie, but whatever. Let's see here what the chat has to say. Let's see. What about a Loaded Weapon sequel? We need Emilio Estevez back. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Maybe they get OJ to be involved in it too. Well, Roger says, spoilers, the bad guy this time is transgender, and they defeat the transgender by letting her know that it's okay. And they gift her an iPhone there at the end of the movie. That sounds perfect, Roger. Alan says, yeah, Sam Jackson in the Loaded Weapon. Yeah, because Leslie Nielsen passed away, didn't he? I think so. I remember hearing it was an MIB ripoff. Yeah, it is. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely got Men in Black vibes. It's got that kind of feel. There's a few other films that come to mind, but so what? It's basically Men in Black, but instead of aliens, it's the dead, spirits. It's a ghost version of it. But like I said, so what? It's not this Oscar-worthy movie. It's just a fun little popcorn flick, and it's done well, dude. I'm telling you, if you watch the R.I.P.D., you will laugh hard several times. It is well done. Jeff Bridges makes the movie, which isn't surprising. I mean, he's a really good actor. Ryan Reynolds is fine, but it's Jeff Bridges' reaction to Ryan Reynolds that really gets some really good laughs. The CG is good, the production is high, and like I said, Kevin Bacon, he's always good. So I mean, it's in many ways, I think it's better than some of the later MIB stuff. But I don't care if it's a ripoff of something else as long as it's good. I mean, we're talking about Loaded Weapon. That's a ripoff parody, right? And it's fun. So but I this is not no one asked for this, but we'll see. I think it'll be fun though, because you know we have good people involved. It sounds like. But then again, it kind of falls in that category, like things like Cowboy Bebop. No one asked for that. No one wanted that, especially with the track record of taking anime and turning it into live action. We know it's not good. But yet, and we didn't get something good. We got something bad. So it's once again not something that's being asked for. I haven't heard anyone rumbling about where's my lethal weapon. So but I'll check it out for sure, unless the critics just, the actual people I listen to, actually just tear it to pieces. So I don't know. I remember hearing. Okay, I read that already. All right, well, let's keep moving along here and get into what I've got set up today. Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, now this is kind of funny because she's basically making herself a hero for yelling at the fans and telling them they suck and to go to hell and the what she did, which so many of them are doing. She's so proud of herself, but her thinking is it felt like a response that was definitely in the spirit of Faye Valentine. But no, I mean I haven't watched this show, but I've seen the trailers. And one thing it's very, very clear, especially when you see her saying "speak to the hand," ha ha ha, it's funny. And that joke was funny. How many decades ago? And the fact that Spike here keeps wanting permission from Jet to shoot her, to kill her just a little bit, right? That joke, they keep doing that joke over and over and over. And she's smug and she's completely oblivious to her arrogance in the trailers, and that's the joke, I guess. That's intentional. But it's funny to me because she seems to think she knows Faye Valentine, but Spike didn't trust Faye for a while. It took time and that's of course family building. But the reason had nothing to do with it. She was a nasty bitch that he wanted to kill. It's because he didn't trust her motivations, right? I mean, that's what it came down, and he was right to be concerned about that, right? But in this, she's just a nasty, oblivious bitch that is hateable, and somehow that's in the spirit of Faye Valentine. It's just once again these people don't understand the subject matter. They don't bother to research it. She's acting as if she knows Faye Valentine, but clearly you don't know Faye Valentine. So you're just talking out your ass. And I think we're all getting sick of these people sitting there telling us about we have to respect them, and it has nothing to do with we want or if we enjoy it. It's all about them. This narcissism is gotten pretty deep. I do think so. But I'm not really surprised. But I'm curious what you guys think in the chat, because how long is this going to continue with actors and directors and producers constantly attacking the fan base who makes you your money? There's a reason we say the customer's always right. Of course, the customer's not always right. The customer often can be wrong, but that's not the point. It's about your future. It's not about this moment. Because chastising a customer, that customer won't come back to your place, and anyone around that person probably won't come to your place either, or in this case watch your movie. You just don't do it because it has far reaching implications to your business. It's much, much better just to simply smile and say thank you, even if they're wrong, even if the customer is being absolutely, absolute twat and is 100% wrong. It doesn't matter. You smile and say thank you, and you move along. That's how you do business, because it's about making money and being successful. And here's the thing, other people will know that this person is a pain in the ass, and they will respect you for more for dealing with it professionally, right? So you actually can gain a little bit from doing that, because people know when they're dealing with a Karen, if that person's a Karen. So it's just not smart, but we're getting this over and over and over and over. And we're about to get into following orders here very shortly, because it's clearly the agenda. If you work in Hollywood, you need to say certain correct things, and we know that. Elrod says it doesn't matter. Netflix already announced Bebop failed another tax write-off. Yeah, I guess so, Elrod. Yeah, they did. But I'm more talking about this person who's completely oblivious and delusional, thinking that they are not only right to yell and scream at fans, but they're actually emulating the character. You should be proud of her. That's what I'm talking about. Joe says Chester asks, "How long is this going to last?" Ask the Soviets. They called it intensification of struggle. Yeah, the struggle sessions and stuff like that. Yeah, Chinese do it too. The more you push back, the harder they double down. It's true, but of course they did collapse. So I don't know, decades, I guess, near 80 years. Is that what we're looking at? Joe says, and make no mistake, that's exactly what's going on. No, it is. It's very clear, Joe. This is so by the book Marxism. It's it's a bit boring in that way, isn't it? Because it is straight up by the book. Elrod says, just like Jupiter's legacy, more money spent than they can get back. The model is broken. Yeah, we see a lot of that though, Elrod, don't we? It's weird because, you know, clearly Hollywood, film studios are set up not in the way we think. They're clearly not set up to spend money and increase your effort and make profit. They're clearly not. Their movies lose money constantly, right? So, what is the model? I mean, I'd love for someone to sit down and explain to me what the model is. Uh, you know, they springtime for Hitler all the time. Yeah, no, that's the producer's movie with the Gene Wilder. I get that, but is that what it really just is just that simple? They're just writing off on the insurance companies. But then again, insurance companies, what's their role, right? I mean, because they're not stupid people. Accountants tend to be pretty smart. So how are they making money on the back end? Where's the entire circle of the system of money, right? Is what I'm saying. Because I don't know what to tell you because they don't seem to care about losing money. Although Disney does have that Chapek guy, and he seems to care a little bit, but he's also not really putting his foot down 100% either, is he? I don't know.
Oh, hello, Chester.
Hey, what's up, Thundero?
Oh, my blood pressure. Nothing too serious.
Well, that's good. It'll only kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a
No,
little
usually
low
my
with the
blood pressure is
volume, by the
actually
way.
perfect. The only thing that was ever high in a blood test was my bad cholesterol was like 0.1% high or something. But that was just because I was so fat. So I'm sure if I got one now, I'd probably be fine.
Yeah, well, no, I've seen people with cholesterol troubles that aren't fat though. It's
Yeah.
just about your diet, and I've told this to you before, and you're working. I understand what you're doing because I did the same thing, and good on you, dude. But just keep in mind when eventually you're going to get to maintenance, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that helps me the most is Monday through Friday. I just eat very simply. I don't eat a lot. I don't eat after 9 o'clock. And then on the weekend, in general, do what I want to do, which is usually one of the days, Saturday or Sunday, right?
Hmm.
And it works just fine. My family doesn't have any trouble, although my wife has had a little bit of um, what was it? It was cholesterol, maybe. Something like she had some little bit of thing, but not much. I'm fine now. I'm black across the board, which is good. And hopefully I'll keep it up. But ultimately you're going to lose the battle eventually, right? But anyway.
Yeah.
Let's
Sadly.
see. Go ahead.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I just said sadly. Eventually, he always wins in the end, old death.
Oh
He's
yeah,
undefeated.
but I mean, having to take medicines and stuff for balancing your chemistry. Roger says, so Chester, are there also talks about a new currency that's going to be used in Japan soon? No. What are you talking about, Roger? Are they putting in yet another currency in America? Thundero? I guess he's continuing with some ongoing trouble. No, I don't know what you refer to, Roger. Please give me some more information. Japan hasn't changed their money in a very long time. I don't expect they will. I haven't heard anything about it. Japan, it's weird in this way. America really wants to go completely digital. They want to get rid of cash. They've been kind of pushing this narrative since I was young, so at least 3 decades. They really want to do that because it gives them more control in the end, and for people they accept it because of convenience. Here in Japan, though, I mean, credit cards are very, very, very new. I mean, I've had one in the entire time I've been here because I'm an American. So I have a couple. I have one credit card I use day to day if I need it. I never carry cash, right? But I also have like my international one, which I hardly ever use. I haven't used that in nearly 20 years. But so I have myself as an American, like an American. But here in Japan, they don't do credit cards. It's really new, and they do more like bank carding, because Japan is a cash society, and it's important to them. That was one of the frustrating things when I first came here. You need to keep cash in your pocket all the time back then. And the banks, the ATMs are only available until 6 o'clock. In the few places you could find them, there was no 24-hour ATMs in Japan at that time. And even now they're hard to find, right? It's just a different society. I know you would imagine the Japanese would be the first to jump on board of digital, and it's something that they would gravitate toward. But the cash in hand is just it's a cultural thing, I guess. Because as
Yeah.
an American, it doesn't bother me even a little bit to be 100% digital. I'm completely fine with that.
I would be if the people who were in control of the levers weren't so malicious and nefarious and debank people and stuff because they have the wrong beliefs or
Right.
wrong, quote unquote. Other than
Yeah.
that, I wouldn't care. If we could get an actually decentralized Bitcoin style or something to that of that at least that degree, I'd go even further, but at least that degree,
Sure.
then yeah, I don't think there's any problem. Um, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, I suppose it is. But me personally, I mean, of course, I keep kind of trust account type of bank accounts that put out a certain amount of money every month. It's annual, but I let it get ahead a year, and then I kind of dispense it monthly. But I kind of do that with it when it comes to cash flow. But the majority of my money, I just own land and and gold and things like that. So I kind
Yeah.
of follow the model of the wealthy. I understand there's a difference between wealthy and rich. Rich people spend their money like crazy and they're gaudy and they're loud. Wealthy people are actually very conservative with their money, and that's who I emulate in regards to that. Good or bad, but that's what I emulate. So I put most of my money into solid investments, like especially like land. This is why the rich stay rich for a long time, guys. They buy land.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I
Simple as
do.
that.
Yeah. But so Roger's telling me there's yet another new currency coming to America. What's going on?
I do not know what he's talking about, to be honest.
Huh?
Um, no idea. I know that the Fed and all the monetary agencies, the Treasury and stuff have been working on a
Hmm.
digital currency. But I don't think anybody, unless they literally go around and forcibly outlaw all other digital
Which
cryptocurrencies,
they could.
nobody's going to use that crap. Not really.
Huh.
I mean, they might come up with ways to incentivize it, but unless they go hard nose and ban it, which they could try. I don't know if the courts would let that happen, but they might. I mean, they did let that you couldn't own gold happen for a very long time. So who knows? We'll see. But that's the only thing I know of that I've heard of is that the Fed and the Fed
Uh-huh.
is looking into a digital currency. They're doing it all over though, all over. I mean, Japan's probably doing it too. I'm sure. The
I
Bitcoin
imagine they're going to
model,
try. Yeah, I imagine
the
they're going to try.
Bitcoin model has. I mean, it's how much more does it have to be worth before it's proven that it's effective. Like it's worth like $68,000 a Bitcoin right now.
Well, yeah.
I'd say that system's fairly effective. Maybe we should think about using it. The problem is a lot of these countries are their digital currency. They want the ability to literally turn it off, so
Yes, of
you can't
course.
spend it at all.
Yeah, that's what they
And
want.
no, I don't think I'll be subscribing to that. These people are evil, and I don't want them in control of my money. Thank you.
Right, which is why it wouldn't work anyway, because the people who are pushing crypto are kind of the don't trust Big Brother type. right?
Yeah,
And so a federal government getting in crypto would fail. But of course, they can force you to do it, right? Um,
they can try. Black markets exist for a reason.
right. But to be fair, though, we're starting to see Wall Street get in, and not even
Yeah.
just American Wall Street. I mean worldwide. Economic sectors in Britain and America, Canada, other countries in the West. I haven't seen it in Asia as much. They are getting into crypto. So that's
Yeah,
right there.
good,
That's what's going to
good.
normalize it.
The technology behind crypto is probably the more valuable, especially Bitcoin, is more valuable in of itself as
Yeah,
a
no, that's
way
true.
of data transfer, of secure data transfer. But using it as a currency is also proved incredibly valuable, obviously.
Sure.
I mean, there's somebody, that guy who does the Stone Toss comics, I don't know if you've ever seen one, but he does like funny little political cartoons. He apparently just sold 5,000 NFTs of some of his art
Huh?
for less than like zero point 0.8 Ethereum, which is another crypto.
Yeah.
And he made $2 million in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
that's how it works. That's why I
that
was
don't
telling.
suck.
It don't suck. That's what I was telling these artists to get on that shit. Get on it. And of
Yeah.
course, some of them have, and they're making some cash. And
Making
some of
that
them are dragging their damn
money.
feet, man.
Yeah,
Procrastination is not good for you, Thundero.
it's not. It's true.
It's
It's
not.
true.
No,
I
don't
wish
do
I
the.
had any artistic talent at all. When it comes to drawing,
Right.
I can't even barely write my name. You want me to draw a picture for you?
Well, I mean, I get that, and but I'm in a very unique situation unto myself.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit about money, never have, right? But
me
I
neither.
also don't have to give a shit about money because I have plenty. I'm good. When I die,
Yeah,
until the day I'm dying, my children as well. I'm good. I'm not some crazy rich guy that can do whatever he wants. No, I'm not that. But because I don't give a shit, I really
right.
don't care. So
Even
you know,
I'm that way as well, but I don't even, as long as I have what I need, which is a house
yep,
and some and a vehicle, pretty much, and a computer. It's basic things that are considered basic necessities to live in the modern world. Uh, I'm fine. I don't need a big mansion or a yacht or
no.
any of that. It'd be nice, sure, but I don't need it. I'm good.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
I was a
I like
single
my boat
man,
now. You lay off my boat.
if I was a single man, I would have even smaller than what I have now. Like I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
probably have about this room I'm sitting in right now. That would be my possessions, and I'd be completely content with that. No
yeah.
consternation about it at all.
Well, I was just putting a caveat on it. I don't care about money. I never have, but I don't have to.
Yeah.
That's my what I'm trying to say. So it's not necessarily the most genuine thing. If I was in a desperate situation, I'm sure I'd have a different opinion. But I'm just whatever. I'm landscaping now.
Landscaping.
Yeah, well, my property I have here in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And Had all those houses sitting on the property, and old houses, old buildings. I think there was 33 structures completely
Hmm.
on the property, and I got to take them down, but it was like $50,000 a pop to take those houses down. Some were more expensive. Some of the bigger, like old warehouses and stuff, were more expensive. So, being me, I did a me thing, and I just went and I made my own construction company. I hired a professional, and he hired a three-man team, and they're dismantling the houses piece by piece now, which is good because I get to save all that gorgeous old wood, which I'm going to use in some future project. Yeah, I'm landscaping. I'm in the landscaping business and construction business now.
Good. That's a good business to be in. That is fairly recession proof because somebody's always going to need their
Well,
shit taken
I'm
care
not
of.
making any money at it. It's just the way
You
it's,
c
but the thing, how now, here's the thing though. Of course, I won't know until it's done, right? There's
Yeah.
always those hidden expenses, but my calculations, which are usually within a percent or two, I'm pretty good at this kind of stuff. How much money do you think I save by literally doing all the licensing, creating a construction company, hiring people, which I have to pay salary for, right? Insurances, all that kind of stuff. I went and bought excavators and equipment and stuff. I bought old ones, but all that expense. That's a lot of money. It's not nothing, right? But all that
Mhm.
expense. How much do you think I save?
Oh, I don't know. What percentage do you usually save?
In this case, 70%.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's the
That's the way
cheaper
to
way
do
to
it.
go. I know it sounds annoying and troublesome and time consuming, which it is.
I'm
But
telling you, I know. I don't know about in Japan. I'm sure their labor market's probably better than ours in regards to these types of service jobs. But a landscaping company here, if you hit the right market, you're a millionaire. I'm not even exaggerating. If
yeah,
you get out, if either you get out there or you got a good crew who will
yeah.
bust their ass, I'm telling you, you can make great money. I know for a fact. My one of my closest friends, his stepfather has a big landscaping company. He has 3 different crews, and he ain't hurting. I can tell you that
No,
right now.
there's lots of ways to make money. I got a 3-year plan here for what I'm doing in this on this property, and it's fun. I'm not building any huge mansion or anything. The house we're in, we're gonna move it. We're gonna take this down stick by stick and move it to another place. This is a really nice old property I want to keep. This building.
Yeah,
But the point is, after it's all said and done, knowing me, I'm just going to move them into, try to keep them getting money, right? Because they're good people, especially the
sure.
boss. He's a really nice guy. So I will, I mean, just do what I do and contract them and for a while, I'm sure, and it'll help me recoup money anyway. Who knows? I might even just bring in another team or two and just do it for real. But I'm just my point was though, there's a way to save money. You can save money by doing it yourself, is my point,
Yes,
you know?
it's true.
So, you know,
I have to ask about this article you have up here.
you know,
With Did you already read out the headline?
uh, yeah, kind of. You can go ahead and read it if you
Okay.
like.
Netflix Cowboy Bebop star Daniela Pineda on previous video response to critics.
Hmm.
I felt like that response was definitely in the spirit of Faye.
Yeah,
No,
I talked about it.
you,
Yeah.
she simply does not know this character or
No,
understand this
not at all.
character. Faye
Not at all.
would not respond that way. She would respond, and she would probably be snarky, but she wouldn't come off as
Bitch.
bitchy or like a what's the word I'm looking for? Not condescending,
Smug.
but like conceited.
Yeah.
She would The way she would go about it is she'd undercut you. She wouldn't raise herself up. And what she was doing was raising herself up, trying to basically keep her ego from getting bruised. That's what she was doing. That's how
Yeah.
it came off. Like it was
Yeah.
coming from a place of hurt for her. Whereas Faye, it would sound like it's coming from a place of she's gonna fuck you up, basically,
Right.
before for daring to come at her.
And in the trailer, and I also mentioned this lack of understanding of the character because, here she's saying talk to the hand, of course. But in the trailer, you
Uh,
see the joke they keep making over and over and over again that Spike is basically asking Jet for permission to kill her a little bit. And that's not the relationship they had. Spike didn't trust her because he didn't know if he could trust her. And he was right to have that concern, right? If you know the story, but they didn't have that kind of relationship whatsoever. Like I said, I really feel they try to spoof it or parody it or just throw a ton of comedy on it, which Cowboy Bebop didn't really have much of. They're just trying to do the comedy, and it's almost like she's to such a level of arrogance in the trailers that she's oblivious to her smug nature. It's what it
mm,
feels like. So yeah, these people don't know what the hell they're talking about because they don't do research, and this is what kills you. She's saying in the spirit of Faye. What the hell did you know about Faye Valentine, man? But whatever. Yeah, no, that's right, Rabbit. Cunt, I think is the word. That's right, Rabbit. We're not allowed to say that, but I'm not in America, so fuck them. Yeah. Now I don't understand what Jeff is talking about. Chester's going to have to get used to exposing his butt crack. Uh,
yeah.
I thought that was a plumber joke.
Landscapers as well, because
Oh,
often they'll be a little bit on the plump side. Some of them,
oh,
and
he's
they
gonna
got to
go to
bend over and things, and well, they're Japanese, of course they're not. But the white guys that do it over here, or the Mexican ones, will often be have a little bit of extra belly on them,
right.
and they bend over and hello, how you doing?
Oh well, I don't care about that. Worker's worker, letting them work. Lunkhead. Thank you very much, Dave. Uh, but um, uh, but no, no, I've known, especially the guy I hired to be the foreman. I've known him for quite a while. He's a very, very good man. He's a hard worker and he's very professional, experienced guy. So, and his crew seems to be good. And they work every day out here on the property. Good to get all those. Like I said, it's 33 structures I got to take down. 33. You know. So that's a lot of work. And I'm also landscaping. I'm gonna cut a trough all the way up there to the mountain, and I'm gonna kind of lift it on the side. There's also like in the mountain, there's this pass area which it's people would use to go over. And I did some testing, and there's actually gigantic boulders in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the dirt off of the pass and the boulders. I'm going to rake them down into the valley here, and I'm going to raise the entire valley about 15, 20 feet. So with that compared to the seawall and stuff we have here just on the other side, that's going to give me a good, I don't know, 50 feet above sea level, something like that, in case of tsunami. And it's also a valley that's backing into the mountain, away from the flow of the income of the harbor here. So I wouldn't even have to worry about a direct hit from a tsunami, which happens in this area, by the way.
Yeah,
I would have to be more concerned with the backwash, and I think 50 feet up with good stone casing around the entire edge from one edge to the other side of the valley. I think we're good. I think we're good, right? And we're also gonna layer in the rocks and stuff like that. I have a friend of mine who runs a dynamite business I used to help, and he has a lot of friends in the gravel business, so I can actually get discounts on that kind of stuff. I got a big plan, Thundero. Can you tell?
big plans.
Big plans. But the reason why I'm saying it is because I'm going to put a lake here and have this compound sitting on the lake with a gazebo and a little boathouse at the other end. It's gonna be
I like
nice.
it.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Nice views. Put some swans up in there. They'll fly away, I'm sure. But I'm doing a water feature. Should be fun. Anyway, let's move on from this idiot. My God, dude. But we had fun news. I don't know if you saw this. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. That's fun. Well, hopefully,
What do we got?
hopefully, hopefully. But here's what I want my main story of today.
Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this actual troglodyte on the left here. Holy crap. Oh my god, the genetics of that creature. Gee, in the middle ain't that much better. Good lord. Do something with yourselves. God. That's I'm literally disgusted looking at them. I'm gonna look over here because it's
Okay.
just better for me, for my mental health. Well, I'm just gonna block. I'm gonna put my hand over and read the headline. Hollywood celebrities take to social media to share their thoughts on Kyle Rittenhouse trial verdict. Oh, good. The experts have weighed in.
Now,
I'm glad.
now I put this up here for a very interesting reason, and I already touched on it a little bit. I like foreshadowing. I don't know if you noticed, but and Jeff, it's not that big a lake, dude. It's only 200 meters long. It's not that big. That I'm going to put a little boathouse though. I can have a little dinghy. I'm going to have a dinghy, Jeff. Okay. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this, and we'll come back to this one here particularly, but because it's very clear if you look at all of these headlines, and I just grabbed a few. Yeah, I just grabbed the few. There are many, 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 many Hollywood actors that have an opinion on the Kyle Rittenhouse case, and they're all, of course, universal voice. Matter of fact, a lot of them have the exact same tweet. It's identical. It's almost as if a bot was doing it, right? Because
Looks
it's the
like they have
same
the
wording.
same publicist. Hmm.
Same publicist, right? So I mean,
Hmm.
I brought this up because I want to look at some of their comments, but I just brought just these three, dude. There are so many guys. There are so many of these Hollywood actors that had to get out in front of this and make a comment about how horrible a country we live in that would let this Nazi terrorist murderer go free, right? That's the theme, right? And clearly, Thundero, someone in Hollywood put out the word, everybody get on board, follow your
Yep.
orders, sir.
Yep. Yep.
Clearly,
Yep. And they
obviously.
did, like good little dogs.
They did, dude. I mean, it's so many. I didn't want to fill
And
my
the
bar
worst
up,
part
so I only
is
brought three.
almost all of them have literal known facts about that trial, about the case, wrong. just wrong. Like not even close to correct. They'll still spewing things that were not only disproven in the trial, that the state wasn't even suggesting because
Yeah, I
it
know,
was
right?
disproven in the trial.
Right.
Like some people are still out here saying he killed black kids. No, he didn't even fire at a single. Well, he did fire at one black person, but he missed him. Everybody he shot was white or looked white. Right? It had nothing
Yeah,
to do with
it
skin
doesn't.
color.
It didn't have
And
it.
he,
It didn't matter. It had nothing to do with that. It had to do with psychopaths trying to murder him and him desperate to survive and him being so well
yeah.
trained in the gun that he did. Because if you watch that video from a point of view of just gun use, that kid has been well trained.
What's
I mean,
crazy is he hasn't even
disciplined.
trained that much.
Dude,
But
his
whoever
trigger
was training
discipline.
him did amazing job. He was trained by the guy. He was in the army or something, so he has you know as good a training as you could probably get,
Right.
especially without lots and lots of expert practice.
Yeah.
Um,
And the kid
but
clearly
yeah,
wanted to
no,
be a cop, right? Is what he was
he
what he
did.
wants
He
to
did.
be.
He wants to be. He had been in like all sorts of stuff like that. Like I think he was in like basically like volunteering for all sorts of different. You know how they do like outreach to high school kids for that stuff.
Sure.
He was in a lot of that stuff, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to help the community. That's why he was out there cleaning up graffiti and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like he's a good kid. He's a
He
genuinely
is a good
good
kid.
kid,
He is a good kid. And it's
and he
unfortunate he
found
has to deal
himself in
with
a
it.
really terrible position.
Yeah.
But that's irrelevant. We don't consider where the person is when they're attacked for
Just that they are.
if their self defense
Yeah.
is allowed or not, is
Yeah.
permitted in their defense or not. That's
Yeah.
never should never be considered because that's ridiculous. It's not the court or the state's job to dictate to a person where they
No.
can or cannot be, as long as it's not actually a prohibited by law
Like a
area, and
private
it wasn't.
property or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, no, and keep in mind that Thunder and I both agree that we could have some reformation and improvement to the policing in America. We agree.
oh,
But
absolutely.
with that said, though, we also agree. I'm putting words in your mouth, but we both, I'm sure, agree that police are essential.
Yes.
So
I used to be a full on ANCAP, full anarcho capitalist. I'm not anymore, simply because I realized that that's actually no different than communism. It's just the owners are different.
yeah,
I would rather nobody own everything. Personally, I think a decentralized, mixed version of an economy is probably the best way to maintain overall liberty of the people
yeah,
and individual liberty at that.
yeah.
But that being said, in order to have things, you need some form of police force. I personally would end police departments entirely and just let sheriffs
Go
expand
back to
sheriff's
the sheriff
departments.
system, yeah.
Yeah,
It's more controllable by the people.
that's right.
You have more say over it. In this system, we have police departments. Some reason, political people like a mayor is in charge. Why? That doesn't make
That
sense.
yeah, that's
Why should there
ridiculous
be
to me. You
any
basically
connection?
just give them a paramilitary force that they have control over. What?
Right. And with the
What is
sheriff,
this?
well, with the sheriff system, there's politics involved as well, but the sheriff is the politics. Therefore, the people can very easily remove that sheriff and put a new one in. This
That's
is
right.
why it works better because now you
And you
have
can
this
always
separation of authority, and that's not good.
exactly. You can always have corrupt sheriffs. That
Of
happens
course.
all the time.
Sure.
But I mean, we get what we pay for at the end of the day. I
That's
mean,
right.
if we want to have a Republican government of any description, that's going to mean some form of democratic vote, whether it's oligarchic or universal, or something in between. You're going to have that to have a Republican structure, and that's the structure I think most people probably want. Even if some people, may want something added to it, taken away, whatever, they still want basically a Republican structure because history has proven that that's probably the optimum form of human government until we find something better when it comes to keeping people free and creating literal superpowers. Something similar to that is generally best,
Yeah.
especially for Westerners.
Yeah. No, I
So,
agree. And Dave, you go, but be careful at the same time, dude, because these people are out of their mind and they're violent. Keep that in mind.
yeah.
They're violent.
But
But
it's
let's.
just so ridiculous. If you look at any of the video from that, if you look at any of the testimony, even the guy that the state brought in testified that Kyle only shot him when he drew his gun on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no if that case was not self defense, you can never claim self-defense again
which is
because
why it was so important.
holy cow.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's why they're so mad.
yeah,
Because they're afraid that more people will go out and do what Kyle did.
they
You
should.
know, defend their lives.
They should. They
And
should.
more people should.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for over a year. We need 10,000 of him minimum. 10,000 Kyles out there protecting property and protecting lives. And this notion that they try to bring up now that, well, is it worth somebody's life to defend your property?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn
Yes.
right it is. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you don't have anything worth a shit, but yes, defending my property is worth your life. Don't be stupid.
There are a multitude reasons to end someone's life, dude. Multitude.
Yes.
And this is one of the things when you try to take people's ability to defend themselves. Every single solitary time that's been done, the government becomes oppressive, more oppressive.
Yeah.
They always use guns to make things happen. That's why they don't want you to have a gun. And this is why America desperately, right now, I'm not a person that carries a gun daily. I mean, I used to when I was working, but I don't do that anymore. I mean, I got a shotgun, for hunting, but that's all I need, right? But I'm just saying, even if you're not a gun owner, it doesn't matter. You should have the right to own a gun. Because otherwise the government will get out of hand. But anyway, let's get into this article. I want to read some of these idiots' responses here.
Real quick. There was also a case that was either the day of or the next day that was ended, that the verdict came in, of a black guy who shot a SWAT team who busted in his door.
Yeah.
And they took away basically said his self-defense was valid because you can't just bust people's door down.
Yeah.
And not expect to get shot. Now, he did get busted for other stuff, but that part of it, he upheld. And that's a good thing. That was 2 big wins for the right of self-defense against private attackers and state attackers.
Well, I love how much they've tried to make this racist, even though there was clearly nothing to do with it. But how many people have said a white boy kills 2 people and get away with that? Never see that with black men. It happens all the time. Shall we bring up the biggest one and the biggest elephant in the room, Mr. O.J. Simpson? Exactly 2 people dead, and he got away with it.
Right? And his was definitely not self-defense.
I'm pretty sure he's still considered a black man. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
The juice, but whatever. Let's see here. Patton Oswalt, our good buddy.
Oh, murderer. Cool. All right.
Yeah. So what do we got here? Want to be a Supreme Court justice? Want to murder 2 people and not go to jail? Better cut some onions. Be white. This falls into the category of all the Jews in America are really pissed off that they're getting thrown into the white category. Ben Shapiro as well. Like, when did we become white people? You're European. Actually.
Apparently not. Apparently not. Hey, if they don't want to be in the club, cool. But last time that happened at a place called Germany, they weren't very happy by the end. I'm just saying, maybe they need to pick their battles.
Yeah. But old Patton Oswalt got himself an opinion. Alyssa Milano, pretty simple. Go ahead.
Oh, hang on. My thing just freaked out on me. Of course it did, right when I'm trying to read it. Not guilty. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Well, yeah, correct. And I'm glad to see Alyssa supporting us. Yeah.
That's right.
She's happy. Fucking not guilty, baby. Yeah, that's right. You're right, girl. Thank you. Thank you for the support, Miss Milano. And just keep in mind, she used to be this mega heartthrob, and my brother's generation were madly in love with her. My generation was Christina Applegate.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember Christina. I
remember her too. But Alyssa,
it was that jailbait shit though, man. She was only like 16 when she came up, and it was like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I was 16 too, though.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But there was a whole lot of really old men all about it. I'm like, maybe calm down. Give it, just calm down, guys.
See, it used to be that if 16 or older was kind of fair play, as far as
it's still. I mean, legally, it still is in most places, but it's still like it's a little gross, especially if you're old enough to be your dad. It's like,
yeah, but see, there's a difference between pursuing a 16-year-old and saying, "Wow, Sam, she's hot." There's a huge difference, dude.
Yeah. But some of these dudes were like real thirsty at the time. Like, I remember.
It's fair.
I remember
because I was all.
I remember in high school when Britney Spears was. I was in freshman when she hit it big.
Hottie too. Yeah.
she's not my type, but she's
Well,
your type. Um,
yeah, okay.
but
Yeah.
I remember watching 40-year-old men saying things like, "I can't wait till she's 18." Like, first of all, like you had a shot. Second of all, like calm down, guy.
Well,
Just
she's insane.
calm
But
down.
but she was a pretty girl. But
She's pretty, but I just never. She's not. She's not my type. That's
well,
just what it is. I'm not a big fan of blonde. I married a blonde. I'm not a big fan of blondes. Figure that out.
to be honest, I'm not really either. However, I wasn't ever into Britney. Of course, I was 30 something when she was, out, or in my late 20s. But the thing about Britney, as with many of the Disney kids, it turns my stomach how
Yeah.
desperate they are to sexualize themselves and move themselves away from that Disney image. It's like it's not necessary, girl. You didn't have to do all that. You have a pretty solid pop voice. You're a good-looking girl. You have all the training from Disney. You could have made tons of money without being all slutty. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessary. You know, but anyway, let's keep going here. Of course, little Alyssa here is not a happy human anymore. Too bad.
She's not
Uh,
happy.
I don't know who this is. Do you?
Never heard of him, but I endorse. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, we need men because young Kyle is now a man, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh
He
God,
been through the
unfortunately.
crucible.
Yeah.
We need men who can. If you watched at certain parts in this trial, when he was being intense, that look in his eyes is what we need. Trump showed me that look in 2016 when he was running for office. There's just a certain way you look at these people, and I'm like, yeah, you're an ally. I need you on my side. And Kyle's proven that he has an amazing KD. He'll take out pedos and commies.
Yeah.
He's pretty
But
good
I
at
mean,
it. He's
where
skilled.
where's the sympathy for this child that has to
He's
bear the
fucking
weight of
18 years
murdering
old,
two
man.
people, right? I mean, he killed
18
them.
years old.
Yeah.
And he's got PTSD. He's messed up from it, in all honesty. Like,
Yeah, he'll
he's.
get over it. But I'm just saying, where's the sympathy for the kid being forced in that situation? I mean, these people are monsters, dude. Dave
Yeah.
gets plus 10 points. Heather Thomas, very good, sir. Thank you. And I don't know where
Oh, yeah.
Kyle will end
Jessica
up.
Alba.
The thing, I don't know who Ethan Embry is, but I guess
Exactly.
it's a celebrity. But here's the thing with Kyle: his life is on a very different trajectory. It doesn't matter he won; he can't do anything now. He
Yeah.
is a
He has to get.
pariah
He pretty much
by
has
half.
to get into politics.
He
That's
has to
about
do
his only.
something. But do
Yeah.
keep in mind, this kid might end up becoming a billionaire off of this.
Good. Good. He's an American damn hero. He shouldn't. He should. I'm not kidding. We need 10,000 of them. 10,000 young men and old men willing to get out there and face these hordes down because the
Yeah.
police clearly don't want to do it.
Well,
So,
they're not being
okay.
allowed, at least, yeah. And
I
dumb's the
don't
name
understand how there wasn't. You know how they go on and on. The left goes on and on about militia, militia, militia,
Yeah,
firearms, militia, only
we
militia.
we have a right.
Kyle was acting as the militia.
He was. I think we
How was he
need
not?
more. We need more
Yes.
militia. We have a
Yes.
constitutionally protected right to form militia.
That's right.
We do.
And to
But
protect our property and the commons and everything.
I,
And our
I'm
lives, obviously.
I'm gonna have to give Dumbs the name a few points as well. Jessica Alba.
Oh yeah.
I was ogling Jessica Alba back in the day, dude. Still am. That
Oh yeah.
is a
She's still not
major
bad.
hottie, dude.
Not bad at all.
Not bad at
Not
all.
bad at
Let's
all.
keep here. Daniel Day Kim. I have no clue. Do you know who these people are?
Daniel Day Kim. Is he related to Daniel Day Lewis? In
Well, I
other
would
news.
say no. Lewis and Kim are different surnames. In other news, you could see coming from a mile away.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, because it
clearly.
was obviously self-defense.
Shouldn't have been. Oh God, she's still alive. I
Oh,
thought for
Mia
sure she'd
Farrow.
be dead
Wow.
by now.
So anyone can come to a protest. Just march down the middle of the street with a massive gun and kill people. First of all, it wasn't a massive gun. It's AR-15. It's not even that big. Second of all, I mean, we can get the massive guns out if you'd like, Mia. We can do that. We've got them. Americans have them. We'll use them. Second of all, he wasn't marching anywhere. He was running for his life.
Yeah, literally.
Uh,
He did
literally being
everything right.
attacked by
That
a
kid.
mob of people. Yeah, he did everything right. He did nothing wrong. The only thing you could say that he did wrong isn't even a wrong, and this is the argument that he shouldn't have been there. Well, why shouldn't he have
Why
been there?
not? Why
Who's to tell him where he can and can't be?
the
He's
rioters and looters can be there, but he can't be there in a place that he
yeah.
works. He has
Yes.
family. He can't be where he exists. Really?
Yes. No, he's not allowed. Not permitted because they said so. You see,
Yeah,
that's how it
no, it's
works.
ridiculous. But yeah, these people in their fear of the AR-15. It's just a glorified 22, dude. It's a 22
Yeah.
long rifle with a little extra
It's
kick.
nothing special.
No,
The only thing special about it is it's very moddable. Like you can put all kinds of
true, and
attachments and
it's
stuff
very
on it. But
accurate. So it's actually, if you were talking about female defense, if you wanted a woman to have a gun
yeah,
that she
good
could
gun.
defend herself, a snub nose AR-15, dude,
That's not
that's
bad.
that's what you want.
It's not bad.
Roxanne Gay. I don't know who these people are. I knew
Aim.
Rittenhouse would be acquitted, but it is gutting to witness the inevitable, to know there will be no consequences for the judge. Why? He did a good job. And to know Rittenhouse and others like him will be more emboldened to be openly white supremacist vigilantes. It's howling. Well, this thing here with the white supremacist vigilantes, why is this white supremacy thing involved in this conversation at all? I mean,
I don't
there's
know. He killed 3 white people or 2 white
but he's
people
also
and
never
shot
made
another
a
one.
statement regarding it.
Oh no, no, he took a picture and did an OK hand sign, Chester. And you see, these people genuinely are so linguistically autistic. They think that because 4chan decided to troll them into thinking that the OK hand gesture meant white power, that it actually means white power because some other people also trolled them with it, and they couldn't just possibly be wrong. You see, it
Yeah,
couldn't just be that they got trolled. No, 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 no. It actually means white power.
yeah, I
That is
guess.
where we're at.
I don't know
That is where we're at
when
now.
we use the OK symbol my entire life. It just means okay.
Ever
Let's
play the
see.
circle game?
The what?
Play the circle game? Circle game. You make a circle down by your thigh or by over your junk, and if somebody looks at it, you punch them. It's a circle game. It
No.
see that must be came after you. That must came after you when you were younger. When we were younger, we played the circle game all the time. We also would play differing ways to say Bangkok, and then you'd smack them in the balls.
Oh no,
We
well
find
we used
different
to
ways.
like that, but we'd like sit down and all chatting and usually sharing a bowl of the marijuana, and of course you just pass it around or you have a joint or something like that. Just chat, just shooting the shit, while sharing a doob, right? Back
Yeah,
when I was younger, and in those situations you had to pay attention all the time because if you weren't, someone would definitely whiz you in the balls with a lighter. Yeah, men are stupid. I don't know if you
yeah. We
noticed.
like. Well, we just like to test each other. That's
I
all.
guess, yeah.
That's all it is. It's a shit test. It's how men shit test. Are you a pussy? Are you gonna take the hit for looking, or are you gonna bitch out and whine?
Yeah, no, that's true. It's just dudes being dudes.
Yeah,
Yeah, this whole white supremacy thing. Let's see. Literally putting out fires. Yeah, he was. He's a good kid. He was out there helping, dude. He was cleaning stuff and putting out fires and helping with medical aid. He's a good kid.
I
Uh,
genuinely hope that after he gets some time off, and there's been talk of the feds trying to do something to him. They better not. If they do, I hope they don't. But hopefully he gets to just be 18 years old for a little while
I don't think
before he
so.
makes too
I
many
think
big moves.
his life is done for a good decade, dude.
Well, his life's definitely done there, but if he moves, especially if he moves to a very red area, he'll
Yeah,
be a
he'll
rock
have
star.
to. He'll have to.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Eric makes a good point here. The cop from the Michael Brown case, which was very clear, a clear, good shoot, had to move away and started working in a boot store. That sucks, dude. I don't know. Boot stores
Okay.
can be good. Roxanne, don't turn her any red light. Talk about a thirsty ass Sting in that song. All right, Stephen King. I know who he
Roxanne.
is. Yeah,
In the Kenosha footage, Kyle Rittenhouse looks eerily like Eric Harris, one of the
Hawkins.
Columbine shooters.
Oh, sorry.
uh, shut the fuck up. Listen, from one Stephen to another, shut the fuck up, Stephen King.
Yeah,
First of all, you're not that good of a writer. Calm down. You write a lot. You put out a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of people read it.
yeah.
So commercially, you're great, but a lot of your books suck.
Well, his short stories are good. He's not a good
The short
novelist.
stories are pretty good,
Yeah, yeah.
but he's not a great novelist at all. His
No, he's not.
endings are very lackluster more often than not.
Yeah. Yeah. But the white guy goes free. Is that the message? Well,
Yes.
how about the innocent person goes free, Stephen? How about that?
I'm just at the point now where I just answer yes. Whenever they try to demonize me, white people, white men, yeah, Yeah, that's the message. Fuck you. How about that?
Now
How about that?
this guy here, Jeffrey Wright, he's actually a really good actor, and he says OJ on the Rittenhouse verdict. Uh,
Okay, that one I don't think is solid. It might be, but it's also kind of funny because he's
it
got
is funny.
Putin with the clap. Yes.
Now here's the
Oh,
thing: is Putin a white supremacist now?
apparently,
When
I'm
did that
pretty
happen?
sure
I
Putin's
mean,
just he wants all the money in the world supremacist. That's what Putin is.
well, but he's
He,
also a nationalist. You see, there's a
yes,
reason why the Russian people adore him.
they
It's
do.
not because they have guns to their head. I don't know if you've paid attention to Russia. They're certainly being oppressed by the West, without question. But it's also a country of very independent. You know what it feels a lot like? America in its early days.
Yeah,
It's really a lot of people with entrepreneurship and a lot of people doing their thing, and Russia's coming up, and it looks nice. I'm happy for them, to be honest with you. I don't know why we have to all have
I
all
would
this Russian hate.
say I don't either. It's a weird relic of the Cold War. That just for some reason the left has decided to not let die. Um, I speaking on that specifically, I've thought Russia needs to be an ally. There's no
They
reason there shouldn't
absolutely
be
need
an
to be an ally.
Amero-Russo alliance.
There's no reason we
Anyway,
shouldn't be huge allies with them. But yeah, no, he's an oligarch. He is. We know he's an
yeah, he's an
oligarch.
oligarch. He's
Uh,
basically a dictator, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's evil. I don't think he's evil. I think he's just self-interested and nationalistically interested.
right, which is why the
So
Russians
what?
love him because he loves Russia. He clearly loves Russia. He
Yeah.
supports Russia at every turn, and they love him for it. Chester is a Russian bot from SJW.
He's
Gotcha.
also
Yeah.
that Russia's also a very multiracial country. Like people have this idea
Yeah.
that all Russians
Extremely
look like
so.
Putin, but
No.
it's not that way at all. Russia's is multiracial as just about anywhere, but maybe the U.S. And so no, that's silly. That think Putin's a white supremacist. He was to be kicking out all the non-whites. Why would he keep them? Get out. Nobody could stop him. He could just do it.
Wow,
So
Joe makes a little bit of a wordplay. You know how I appreciate that. He says vigilante equals vigilant. That's the word
that's right.
they want you to ignore there.
That's right.
I do
What's wrong?
agree with
First of all, I've never understood why we're supposed to all clutch our pearls at the idea of a vigilante. Now, if the vigilante's in the wrong, sure. But if he's not, awesome. Sweet. That's what the militia is supposed to do.
you.
I'm not misinterpreting it. That is literally what a militia is supposed to do. The
Yeah.
idea of there is no federal police power in the Constitution. You know why? Because the state militias were supposed to handle it. And they obviously we don't do that anymore for varying reasons, but there's nothing that struck that down. That is still the law of the land, and it's absolutely what everyone should be. When Kyle did that last year, I was obviously terrified they were going to crucify the kid,
Right.
but at the same time I was ashamed of myself and other men in this country that he even had to be out there in that situation
Hmm.
because he shouldn't
You
do.
know,
Nobody in
and
that area, no men in that area should have allowed that to happen.
well, and you know something that they neglect to mention is he wasn't the only one. There, all those videos and photos you see him cleaning graffiti, putting out fires, all the stuff he was doing.
That's right.
There's a lot of young people out there. It's
Good.
not just him. It's just because he's the one that got signaled out and had to run for his life. And he tried. He tried to get away. I mean, he did
Tried
try.
very hard
But
to get
in
away.
the end, he had to defend himself. Now this Michael Ian Black, another person that I don't know, although Grimlock, who's not in here for some odd reason. Roxanne Gay is a land beast. Okay, they got to write lesbian fan fiction in Marvel Comics because she's friends with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Well, Ta-Nehisi is a full-on dreadful racist. But I don't know who this dude is, but he says, in fairness, Kyle Rittenhouse only killed two people. It's not like he was smoking weed. Well, okay, Mr. Black. What about all those Black Lives Matters and Antifa people who killed? What about
Yeah.
them?
I
They
think that the total was like 80 or 100 deaths last year in those riots, something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, and
Um,
30 directly shot, I think.
yeah, yeah.
So what about those killings?
You see, it's
Interesting.
different when they do it.
Oh,
Murderer Kyle Rittenhouse acquitted is a crime in itself.
thank you, Miss
Roxanne
Arquette.
Arquette. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh boy.
Okay. Is she still trying to be sexy? I see her. She's still trying to be sexy. I see it.
Yeah, she's trying. This is a problem. A lot of women just don't know how to age gracefully.
Yeah.
And now expect the vulture media to swarm around the killer and his mama. Yeah, how dare his mother be upset? Would she ever question the tears of a black mother
Nope.
in this situation? Would she
No.
dare? Of course not. And the worst part is Rittenhouse, not even really a white kid. He's like half white. He's half white, half Hispanic.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah. Well, most Americans are. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. Most Americans are. Josh Gad, an absolutely useless shit that keeps getting opportunities. I don't know. He's the right race, I guess. Absolutely no words. Good. Thanks, Josh. But he
Oh
has some
wait,
words.
wait.
God damn
Oh,
it.
he has
God
some
damn it,
words. What
Josh.
happened?
You said absolutely no words. Gee, go ahead and see
He
what
found them.
words
Don't
Josh
worry.
has.
He put them in a different place. That's all.
Yeah.
It has now been put out there that vigilantes can just go and kill people protesting issues like racial equality whenever they want and get away with it. Listen, buddy, periods, I'm begging you. Think about that for a second. I would love it.
Yeah. Of course, I know you guys know this. I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just thought it'd be fun to look at it because there's so many. And this article doesn't even begin to touch the tip of the iceberg because everybody in
Oh,
Hollywood
so
has an
much salt.
opinion.
So
So
much.
much salt, dude. But the thing with it is, none of these people are actually talking about what happened. Not at all. They're not covering the actual course of events, the facts. They're not covering it at all. These are just knee jerk emotional responses to what? Propaganda, I guess.
Yeah, because they don't know the facts. There you go, Randy. See, Randy might be crazy, but he's my kind of crazy, and I can love him for it all day long.
Well, he's got his little she kind of looks like a crack whore to be honest, but he's got his little girl, and she put on, whose face was that? Obama's face, a mask, and
Yeah,
he's literally fucking her, and he put it up on Twitter.
Randy
Fucking
Quaid's crazy,
Randy,
man.
dude.
He's a crazy motherfucker, and I love him for it.
Yeah,
Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. He's a good kid. He is a good
he is
kid,
a
and we
good
need
kid.
way more of him. More like him. Please, we need you. We need you, young men, because my generation's fucking gone. We're done. We a bunch of deadbeat losers
Thank you,
up in this
SJW.
generation.
Yeah.
We need the younger boys to come in and kick some ass, because if you're expecting the millennials to do it, I tell
No,
you,
it's not
I
gonna
tell you,
happen. Yeah. Feelings don't care about your facts. HJW Joshua, you're right. You're right, sir.
that's true.
Uh,
That's actually quite true. He's correct.
it's true. Adam Baldwin, Justice. Well, there you
That's
go.
right.
He
That's right, Adam.
agrees. You get him, Adam.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like Adam Baldwin.
MSM, mainstream media, talking heads are trying to retry the case. Fail. You get him, Adam. Depressing because the justice system prevailed. He's throwing salt, dude.
Good. Good. The justice system. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was super black pilled. I thought they were getting him on something. You know, they threw all these charges at him. I thought for sure one of them would stick, and the jury did the right thing. I mean, I didn't want that to happen, obviously, but the jury did the right thing. They didn't cave to the pressure because they were hearing it and feeling it, and they just followed the law, and that's all you can ask for in the end. And even the judge was like, you guys were wonderful to work with," I think was his words, because they were punctual and professional, and they took it seriously.
Yeah.
And that isn't always the case with juries.
Well,
And
I'm curious
yeah,
what the play was for the 4 days for the verdict when we know most cases take 2 or 3 hours to be done
yeah,
in deliberation. What
it
was
could
up
have
with the
been
four
just
days?
as simple as there was holdouts on one of the charges, or it could have been they were just trying to buffer a little bit.
Yeah, say,
They
well,
didn't,
we
because if
really
they
thought
came
about
back
it.
real fast, yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
So that might be all it was.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we never know. I don't want any of those jurors to ever be found out who they were. I don't want none of that. I don't want them to ever be made public because it's just going to ruin their life. So hopefully we never find out
It's
what it
already
was.
done, dude. MSNBC got him. Nick Cersei. Who's this? Insurrection film and television star. I don't know who Nick Searcy is.
Oh, I
Uh,
can't. I know the name. I can't remember what I've seen him in though.
but he says, "What are you angry about? That Americans have a right to defend themselves from being murdered by your voters? Damn,
I
dude,
love it.
that's a salty cut right there. It
I
is."
love it.
And they
Just
go
threw the
on,
salt in the
right?
wound.
But as you see, there are some people that are coming out in favor. Anyone want to educate this? This is Dylan O'Brien is amazing. Of course you are, Dylan. I thought they would throw his arse behind bars for the rest of his life. This is so wrong. He killed innocent people. Did he? Kill innocent people? You mean the ones with the guns? Those guys?
Yeah.
You mean the convicted child rapist that threatened to kill him and used the N word over and over? Or the
Yeah.
guy that pulled the gun on him? Or the dude that was hitting in the head with a skateboard? Look into their criminal records. They don't care about that shit, dude. They're victims.
Yeah.
You look at. I showed you these up top. I didn't read them because it's not the point. I'm just kind of giving you a visual example. But look at the here. The Mandalorian actor mourns Kyle Rittenhouse's assailants, appears to libel Rittenhouse. Well, and there's so many of them that are doing just that. They're praising these pretty bad people, dude, right? It's kind of like praising George Floyd or some of these other people, which they praise. They're just criminals. I mean, George Floyd is a dumbass criminal. He knows
Yeah.
he's on probation. He's out there passing bad checks, knowing he's knowing what he's doing, but he's just such
Yep.
an idiot. They can't get past their stupidity. He gets picked up. By the cops who are way too gentle with him, way too nice to him, and he swallows his drugs, ultimately killing himself. And somehow
Yep.
this is a guy who's a hero?
Hero,
Really?
champion, saint even made giant golden statues of.
It's ridiculous, dude.
Uh, Rosenbaum was convicted of raping 5 young boys. Not one, not
Five.
two,
I didn't even know.
not an oopsie. 5. He should have
Boys,
been dead a
too.
long time
Why?
ago.
Why can't you just diddle the little girls? What are you doing?
It's just so
That didn't
far
come out
beyond.
right. That didn't come out
No,
right.
it didn't at all, teacher. Calm down.
Well, you know what
It's
I
just
mean.
so far beyond anything resembling sense that our justice system allows people like that to live. I don't care what anyone says. 5 boys,
Yeah, it's
5
ridiculous,
isn't
dude.
enough to warrant a death sentence. Are you kidding me?
And here's the thing that kills me on that, dude. Right? And Pedro Pascal, you're right, Josh. But
Starting to wonder.
here's the thing that kills me on that, right? Because I am a teacher. I do university stuff too, but mainly I have a private English school. That's what I do.
Yeah,
That's my business, right? And so I've been dealing with children directly for 2 decades. And of course, I had my own, but that's a different type of experience. And here's the reality of children: girls mature way quicker than boys, way, way,
yeah,
way, way quicker. So if you have a little girl who's being assaulted like that, she understands what's going on, and it's horrible. It creates trauma, and you leave the little damn kids alone. What are you doing? Stop it, right? But I mean, the girl at least can process it, right? Because she understands what's happening. I mean, girls understand that at a very young age, this kind of sexuality. They don't talk about it. It isn't, and of course, we don't bring it up because it's inappropriate, right? Until later. But they get it. Girls can process it. Those little boys that get attacked by these fucking monsters, they don't understand it. They can't process it, dude.
yeah,
Their brain development is very slow. Now, eventually, they catch up to each other, and it evens out. But a kid who would be qualified as a victim of pedophilia, or pederastia, more accurately, um, uh, these boys are too young to get it. And that, I think, personally causes more damage. If you can process and understand what comes on, you're still a victim. It's still horrible. It's still going to scar you. I get it. But the fact that you can process it can help you get past it quicker. Whereas the young boy has no clue what's happening. They don't understand. They can't process it. They don't have the intellectual capacity. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah. And this,
yeah. No,
for me, it makes it more monstrous.
yeah. He was an absolute monster. absolute monster of a person. Just got out of a mental hospital. Was wandering the street because thanks to old President Reagan, we don't keep these people locked up. Um, and threatened to kill a 17-year-old kid. Chased the 17-year-old kid. Threw an object at the 17-year-old kid. The kid turned and pointed his firearm at him, and he kept pursuing him.
Yeah.
And then eventually got close enough to him to grab his weapon and got what he deserved. He
Yeah.
he deserved it a long time before he met Kyle Rittenhouse. I'm glad that the Lord Almighty made Kyle the instrument of his justice, and that gentleman is dead.
Yeah.
Glad of it.
To be fair, though, I have moved into guns before myself, but those are very different situations. So I
Yep.
understand, you can move into a gun and successfully. You just have to do it in the right way, but not against a well trained person. That's the problem. When I was the guns I had to deal with when I was working, were people who were either slightly drunk. Or they're just carrying a gun because they think they're a badass. They don't actually are not trained or skilled at it, right? So this was very easy for me to deal with. Someone like this boy, that was a very well trained boy. That's a dangerous situation. And
A
working,
dangerous young man.
yeah, and working in security, whether no matter where that is, you have to learn very quickly to recognize trained over not trained because you're going to interact with it in a very different way, right?
Yeah.
So good on this kid for keeping his cool. I mean, damn, dude.
You want to know the best part about this whole deal, though? The best part. So the one of the guys he shot and killed, the first one or the second one, that Huber guy, uh, was a woman beater. He used to beat his wife, and was, I
Yeah.
believe, even arrested and convicted for it.
Oh, great.
Um, well, his current girlfriend, or it might even been the one he was beating, I don't know. At the trial, after Kyle was acquitted, gave Kyle her phone number. I said, "Is my boy about to have killed this piece of trash and then get his woman?
I
Is
hope
that
not,
about to
because
happen?"
that's not a good woman. I guarantee you that's not a good
No,
woman.
no, no. But it's still hilarious.
Yeah. No, he's got a girl anyway. You saw her in the court. She's cute too.
Uh,
But
I think that was his sister.
was
I
it?
think that's his sister. Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. All right.
But
Uh,
I mean, just imagine though. Imagine. I have a nephew. He's 19. I have one that's 17. If one of them got themselves in a terrible situation or was put in a terrible situation and was in that same situation, I just can't even imagine the amount of rage and relief that you would feel
yeah. A lot
for
of
your
emotion there.
child or your family member, whatever, to have got their entire life almost taken from them, like gone forever. That would have been it.
Yeah. Um,
That's just woo, woo.
but the whole thing is it's pretty despicable, this whole entire situation. Matthew Marsden, who I don't know who you are, you don't get the results you want because it goes against your narrative. Anyone who watched this trial objectively will tell you that this is the correct outcome. You should have never been in trial. Stop politicizing it. The MSN totally, the mainstream media, totally jumped the shark on this and will never be trusted again. Well, they kind of lost that a long time ago. But it does get, this I know I usually don't go through a complete article like this, but I just wanted to get a look at it, and I'm glad that they put in some other opinions in here. And of course, I like what Adam Baldwin is talking about here, but Randy wins.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause he's just basically correct. He's a
Randy
good
wins.
kid.
Yeah. But then again, Randy always wins, even though
Randy does
I
find
think
a way
he's
to win
unhinged though.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know, about a decade ago, I think it was. Maybe it might have been less than that. He was trying to cross the Canadian border because he said the Illuminati was after him,
They probably were.
and they had
Yeah.
they had taken all of his money or something
Oh
like that.
God. Yeah. Watch out.
Um,
Run, Randy, run.
I don't remember what end event. Obviously, he's still alive, so they didn't totally get him. But I don't remember the full result of that. But he does have a history of brain mess up brain,
Yeah.
but that's okay because listen, he's lucid right here,
Well,
and that's
yeah,
what
but it's
matters.
it's the drugs and the syphilis. It'll get you, you know.
Yeah.
But and besides, they don't really call themselves Illuminati. They haven't called themselves in that in several centuries. But the Illuminati-esque groups do exist. I mean, they are out there, and it's not
I
as supernaturally nefarious as people like to make it. They're
No, of
just
course not.
bankers who want power and money. I mean, it's really not
Yes.
that complicated.
I will be right back real quick.
Yeah. But anyway, there you go. I mean, geez, man, Hollywood has lost a valve, dude. They, but I mean, as you can see with this, they have clearly put out the message: everybody get on board and chastise this boy. Hollywood is in step order. With each other, they have been given their directions. LeVar Burton appears to react to Kyle Rittenhouse. Appears to. He says, "Tell me again, there are no two kinds of justice in America." Yeah, well, if you're a person of color currently, you definitely got privilege. That's for damn sure. You're right, Mr. Burton. I agree with you. I say we have equality. How about you? Yeah, okay. Moving on, idiots. Um, I know some of you probably be disappointed in Mr. Franks here. Um, he believes that he wanted to shoot someone. Okay. If he did, then he would have just started out doing that, Mr. Franks. Not the last thing he did is he desperately tried to flee. Because that's something to keep in mind. A lot of people calling him a hero, and whatever. That's fine. I'm proud of the boy for defending himself and having such clear, good gun control. That's what I appreciate with the kid. That aside, the kid was trying to run away. He was trying to run to he was even telling out, "I'm going to the police. I'm going to the police." He was telling them, trying to get away and go to the police. And when he finally got out of it by shooting a couple of guys and scattering them a bit, what did he do? He ran right up to the police, put his hands up, told them what was going on. They told him to go over there and wait, and he did. I mean, the kid did everything right. I mean, he would you be able to do things that cleanly in that state of mind? Would you? Because not only did he have great gun control, because he could have shot a lot more bullets, he could have shot a lot more people, but he didn't. He controlled himself. And every step of the way, he did what you should do. He tried to get away from the situation. I mean, I know we love the Hollywood movies where you sit there and take out the bad guy, and all that's all well and good, but that's not really reality, is it? I mean, you should move away if you can. You should move away from violence if you can. And he tried his best to. I just commend the kid. I'm not going to go as far as calling him a hero because he's just it's what all Americans should be. When I was a kid, I was in the Boy Scouts. I think it was in Indian Scouts when I was little, but I was a Boy Scouts. I never did the Eagle Scout thing or the ROTC, but we have a lot of these things in America to teach people how to handle guns safely, how to, survival things, basic community service, these kind of things. And I really think we should move back to that. I think we should take our kids and part of their, especially elementary kids, part of their education is going out and doing a little community service. Why don't take the entire school and walk the property and clean up stuff like that? That's one thing they do over here that I appreciate greatly. And you don't realize how important it is until you see it. Here, they don't have janitors at their schools, right? The kids are responsible keeping their schools clean. Of course, the teachers too. So several times every week they do cleaning, but they also have big cleanings like seasonally. And those kids go around and they scrub the floors, they scrub the desks, they clean the property, they keep the school clean because it's theirs and they should keep it clean. It creates a sense of ownership, but it also creates a sense of community duty, which we all have. And I get a kick out of all these people saying, "I don't have to do this," or "I don't have to be responsible," "I don't need to get married," "I don't need to have babies," or whatever, all this kind of stuff we hear from whatever, male or female. But it's like, well, you do realize you have a responsibility to the country you live in, right? I mean, that country you live in, it's what protects you, it's what gives you the opportunity to earn money, to be free, or what have you. Everything you have is because the system in place allows you the access to do it. Think about people who live in countries who don't have that and why they're so desperate to come to places like America, right? But all of that is not free, man. That's not free. You owe a certain amount of responsibility to the system itself, the community, the greater community itself, that gives you these opportunities. And it's very simple. It doesn't have to be community service. It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be just as simple as creating a good family and making some children for the future. I mean, that's simple, right? If you really think about it, our governments at their core, pure core, they don't really request too much of us, do they? Not really. And taxation has nothing to do with this. That's a separate issue, and that's usually corrupt. But I'm just talking about the idea of community, right? And having starting very simply, having the kids clean their classrooms. It's kind of going back to what Jordan Peterson became so popular right here recently, right? What did he say?
Clean your
Clean your
room.
room. And why did he say that? Because he's basically saying, get your life in order, straighten your shit out. And you have many people, many kids around the world who start out young cleaning their room and getting their shit straightened out, right? And
Yeah.
and I really think America and other Western places should go back to that. I mean, when I was a kid, we did. Where did it fall down? It sounds like around the 90s, I guess. I don't know.
I can tell you exactly where I grew up with it. It was a whole generation of completely disinterested parents, or ones that were too interested. So we had a cocktail of bad parenting from both directions, either neglect or
Yeah,
overparenting.
yeah, the
And because
helicopter
of
single moms. Yeah,
the overparenting ones, we did the everybody gets a trophy type mindset
that's a
because
horrible
they didn't
idea.
want their kid to feel bad, so everybody should get a trophy. And then the neglectful parents would have had kids who actually were capable of excelling, but they were either too busy or just simply didn't care.
Yeah,
And now you have a whole generation who doesn't want to work hard because there's either no reward for it emotionally, or they were rewarded for not working hard to begin with.
right. Well,
So
it's important, right? It's important that humans work best when they're under challenge. You
yes,
should fail and try hard to win. And the sad but I don't know, ironic, I guess would be the word. Thing is, now that I'm an adult, I understand that bullying has value. That's
yes.
weird, right? Because if I said that statement without any kind of explanation, you'd be like, "What?" But it actually has value. Bullying
Correct.
puts you. It's just like shame. It puts the society on the same rail, right? And
I think
obviously, you have to. There needs to be a balance to it. But I mean, it's an odd thing that this softening, this ultra level of protection, the fact that everyone must survive forever. It's like no, you
no,
need those kids who are going to, do the stupid things that die. You need them to die because it teaches the other kids a good lesson. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
It's sad, but it's just the
It
truth.
just is what it is.
Death is a part of life. Pain is a part of life, and there is no way for us to decouple ourselves from that reality. And every time we try, and all these utopian ideals fails miserably and just increases suffering because we're denying a basic tenet of our reality.
Right. No.
One of the things that stuck with me my entire life. It's not a good movie, but there's a great line in Star Trek Five,
Mm,
and it's when Captain Kirk is offered to have his pain taken away, and he says, "I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain." That
oh
is
yeah.
absolutely correct.
Yeah. No, that's true. It's a very good point. And Rabbit here was talking about this headline here, which I'm going to let Thunder read in a second. Last Night in Soho was a good movie. He was talking about it, and this is the Edgar Wright. I tend to like Edgar Wright, but go ahead.
Last Night in Soho co-writer Christy Wilson I can't stand that. Defends film's twist, calls it key to theme of female empowerment.
Now, the idea of female empowerment in a film is not a problem. It's not the issue, right? And Rabbit seemed to like this movie. And like I said, Edgar Wright, I tend to like Edgar Wright movies, so and I will watch this. I probably will enjoy the filmmaking of it. But I think the point this article is trying to make is, and spoilers, by the way, spoilers. This in this movie. We've seen a couple of movies like this recently. This is not unique. I don't know why Edgar chose this twist at the end of his movie because we've seen it recently quite a bit. But the whole time, I guess you think she's a victim, or there's some ghost thing going on. I was told it was vampire, but this is more about the traditional term of vampire, not an actual supernatural bloodsucker, but a woman or a man, but usually a woman who manipulates men and uses them for her benefit, right? A vampire, right? This is why it's called. They were saying it's a vampire movie. It's a traditional vampire, not a supernatural one. This is supernatural in the fact that there's ghosts. But here's the twist: this girl, who the story's all about, you find at the end that she actually is the killer. Right, because she was a prostitute. She killed her pimp. Fair enough. I mean, pimps can be troublesome. That's not a problem. But then she went on this, women's female empowerment thing and just killing Johns. And this is where it's getting a little pushback because I'm sure it's a good movie, and like I said, I will watch it. But this idea that somehow the John, because we there's another movie just came out that did exactly the same thing. But what did the John do? I mean, they're all they're doing is giving you money for your job. They're not coming up to a random woman and say, "Hey, I'll give you $500 to have sex." I mean, that's what they're not what they're doing. You're presenting yourself as a professional prostitute, and they are offering you the agreed upon money for your services. So, what did the John do deserve to be murdered by you just because you're angry female? I mean, and they're trying to promote that as a good thing. She's the hero because she
Right.
murdered all these innocent men. And this is where the
Yeah.
controversy is coming from.
Yeah. It's pretty silly.
It is.
Um, it's a cool twist though. Like I wouldn't have saw that coming from the trailers or anything, which is good. Um, I don't know. I actually, what's funny is I almost went and saw this today.
Yeah.
Wife
I mean,
asked if you wanted to go do
I think
something.
you should watch it. I mean, Edgar Wright is a good filmmaker, dude. And I don't have a problem in of itself with a political statement, as long as it's done the right way and it's entertaining. I don't care about that. I don't care about female empowerment whatsoever because, I mean, Jesus Christ, how much more empowered do women really need to be? They've always
Yeah.
had all the power. They always have the ear of the men. They always have access to the money, and they're the ones that spend it. The whole reason we have money really is for them anyway. Pretty much every
Yep.
goddamn thing we do in life is for women. How much more empowerment do you really fucking need? God damn it, get a grip. Selfish bitches. But anyway, with that aside, the controversies coming out of that, and well, I guess the problem is if she's being shown as, and the part of the movie is that she's actually the hero, well then that maybe is not good. If you're doing a twist and she's the evil bad guy, oh great, that's cool, right? And I know Edgar can pull that off, right? So I don't really know. I haven't seen it. And like I said, I usually trust his stuff when I see it. I wish Rabbit was in here so I could he could give us his an opinion because he did see it. But I don't know, Rabbit. I'm going to check it out though, because I do like Edgar. But I don't know. I didn't even know it was controversy. Did you?
No, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
This is her, by the way. This is herself, right?
Oh,
So it's
wow.
all like this fever dream, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I wish we had Rabbit in here to give us more specific detail. These are the ghosts, and of course she has an opportunity to help them, and she won't, or something like that. But if it's just a twisted, prostitute killer type of story, okay, cool. How many of them exist in the world? I mean, Jesus, the '70s is
Well, was
is
the
50% of them.
obviously we haven't seen it, but what? Yeah, there was a whole lot of them. We haven't seen it, but is this supposed to be more like a taxi driver type idea? Like, meaning what I mean by that is
I
they're
don't
not
know.
really trying to redeem the protagonist. They're just trying to show you a little bit of glimpse into the mind
Yeah.
of a mad person.
Yeah, see, I
Uh,
that's why I'd have to see it because
yeah,
sometimes
that's what
people
it
find
sounds like to me.
conspiracy when there isn't any, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Like I said, I haven't seen it. Kind of like the Joker movie. They're not trying to tell you he's the good guy here because he's not.
No,
They're
he's the
trying
bad
to
guy.
tell you that this is what a mad person does,
Yeah,
basically.
and that's why it was so successful. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to check it. I'm gonna check it out because like I said, I like the film creator. In general, he's good at what he does. So I thought it was a straight up vampire movie, but it's not. It's a vamp movie. But that's cool. Anyway, pretty girl they got for it. That's for damn sure. She's a cutie. But
Yep.
let's move
At
on here.
all.
Now, well, go ahead and just read the headline first, I guess.
X Men X Men '97 supervising producer Charlie Feldman Donald Trump cannot condemn white supremacists because he is a white supremacist.
Okay, now I just chose this headline. There are so many headlines. Another one coming out with X-Men 97. These producers, directors, everybody involved has a damn opinion. They're getting out in front and they're basically pointing fingers at everybody. It's insane, dude. They haven't even really started doing any major work on this thing yet, and they're already out in front blaming us for not liking it. It's like Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, there's so many articles on it. Go check it out. There's
Of
every
course.
day there seems to be an article, another person working with X-Men 97 that has a freaking opinion about horrible white people, and they're all white, by the way.
Well, Feldman's probably a Jewish person.
Well,
But they
once
are
again, there we go. Okay.
they definitely are using a good old outrage marketing. That's all it is. Don't fall for the bait. Don't watch this show, actually. That's my recommendation. X-Men, the original X-Men series is right there if you want to watch it. You can find it online, I'm sure. Watch that. There'll be a far less ridiculousness involved with it.
Yeah, no,
Far less
it's
reprehensible marketing techniques.
yeah, but they're really
And just
getting out front, dude.
reprehensible people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what they're doing because here's what I think. They know what they've done. It's either just terrible strategy like we've seen a couple times with some of these shows. They come out with this attack, right? They come out in an attack posture, and then you get in the show, and it's just a show. It's just chill. It's like there's nothing about it
Yeah, they do
that's
like
like
that.
that.
That's happened quite a bit.
Or they're hedging their bet, right? They know that they've put something in this that's going to piss people off, and they want to get out in front of that and be like, "Well, see, it's just the white supremacists. They just
Yeah,
you racists."
I still never understood the Trump and white supremacist thing.
I don't either.
Isn't he the president that did more
Yeah,
for minorities than any president in living memory?
he was
Isn't
going to
that him?
give Black America effectively $500 billion in reparations. Effectively, that's what they was. That's what it was. Now, that's not what it was called, but that's basically what it was. Through tax investments and things of this nature into their communities. That's what his plan was. The Platinum Plan, he called it.
Yeah.
If that's what white supremacy is, then please give me the non-white supremacists. Thank you,
Yeah,
because I
no.
don't want them anywhere near
It
positions of power.
it is weird. Um, yes, Roger. Of course, they're idiots. The whole mutant thing, particularly when Claremont got a hold of it, it's about minority suppression. That's the whole
Yes.
freaking point of the X-Men. Is the fact that they are different and they're trying to stand up in the face of so much hate and oppression. That's the point. A matter of
Here's
fact,
what's
if
amazing.
well, yeah, I mean, if you listen to Stan, he created the X-Men directly in response to the civil rights movement.
Correct.
Directly.
Here's what's amazing about all that, though. The first, I'm pretty sure it's the first X-Men movie. It is the first one. Jean Grey is given some speech to Congress or the Senate or whoever, some
Yeah, I
committee,
think it's the second one.
and they're trying to put a licensing on being a mutant. You have to have a license to be a
Right.
mutant, basically. You have to confirm who you are and declare yourself to the government and all these things. And her argument against that is that that's wrong. And the senator, whoever it is, argument is that, well, we license people to drive. And she says, yes, but not to live. I wonder if these people would agree with that sentiment today with the unvaccinated.
Yeah, right.
Just curious.
And Joe's mad at me. I'm sorry, Joe. My brain doesn't deal with illogic well. But I just put this one up here because I just can't believe how many of them are speaking out. They're just in full, outrage advertisement, as you had said. It's really ridiculous. This one's funny for me. Go ahead. This is actually hilarious.
Kamen Rider receive assistant producer. Wait. Oh, Revice. I'm sorry. That's not a word.
No.
Assistant producer accuses Toei of sexual harassment and employee mistreatment.
Okay. Now this kind of ties into another story coming up here in a minute, and the Japanese make up words all the time. Leave them alone.
Apparently.
But here's the thing: this is a little bit touch of Westernness coming into Japan here. This girl, who's an assistant, she's some assistant, right? She's upset because she didn't, all her ideas weren't accepted, and how dare they?
Right.
And a couple of older dudes showed a little interest in her. She said no, and then they stopped.
Oh my God. Is she okay?
Yeah,
Does she need a hug?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
that might be sexual harassment. I better not offer a
And
hug.
these are her words, by the way. This is an opinion. This is what she says in the article, and I actually went and saw the thing in Japanese and read it in the original Japanese just to make sure, because sometimes these articles can mistranslate shit. But no, that and this did put a this is a little bit of clickbait here by Spencer Bakuli, but really that's it. There was a couple of dudes that showed some interest in her. They didn't do anything. They didn't fire her. They didn't do any of that kind of bullshit. They just showed a little interest in her. She said no. They backed up from her own words. But the fact that they dare to even look, she actually complains that one of them was looking at her. I shit
How
you
dare
not.
you?
That's her
How
words.
dare you look at her? How dare you
That
look
he
in her
looked at her.
direction? You
Yeah.
filth! You repugnant peasant trash! How dare you? Like, where do these bitches get off? I'm
Yeah, I don't
telling you,
know.
Chester,
But
I don't like
it's funny.
violence against females, but I think some of these bitches just need slapped. I really do.
Well, the thing is, this isn't going to fly in Japan at all, dude.
Oh,
Let me
God.
give you an example, and I think it's a pretty funny one. And Josie's not mad at me, but Jeff said he is. Let me give you an example. We had the Olympics coming up, and the Olympics were quite controversial from the beginning because a lot of Japanese are like, "Why?" Right? But then we doing it anyway, and Tokyo spending all this money, and all the other Japanese got to throw tax money in there to help them out. Like, okay, whatever. But then we're getting up close, and all the of course COVID shit, and it just created a lot of controversy. But before it happened, the dude is a really ancient dude, but he's popular politician, has been around a long time. All Japanese know who he is, but he's a really old dude, and he made a statement because they were complaining. The IOC was really the inception of it, that they wanted more women on the board, and he was like, oh. Well, if you're going to have more women on the board, we need to make the meetings longer because the women don't stop talking. Now, if you come from a corporate world, you know that that is 100% true. Because
Yeah.
if you're sitting in a meeting with a bunch of men, a statement will be made, and the men will either have an opposition to the statement or they won't. And if they don't say anything. They just sit there and be quiet, right? Because it's about it's a meeting. It's about efficiency, right? The women, however, even if all of them agree with you or all of them disagree, it doesn't matter. They each one must be heard. They must have their voice heard. And this is a big difference between men and women in a corporate situation, because men don't need that. We don't have to have our voices heard if we have nothing to say, right? That's very normal. So meetings will tend to go pretty quickly. But each woman, even if she 100% agrees with you, she has to have her voice. She must speak her words, even though there's no need for it. This is the
Yes.
reality. And I mean, oh well, whatever. It's you're getting paid for it. Just sit there and let them do what they're going to do. It's not a big deal. But the old dude is just old, and he's like, oh, he's just tired of it, is what it really was. Now, the Japanese laughed at it because one, yeah, you probably shouldn't say that, but all Japanese laugh because they know it's true. The women, especially, know it's true. And that was it as far as Japan was concerned. However, the international community, such an outrage. This horrible sexist man. They were just, clutching pearls like crazy, right? So the Japanese, all right, fine, put his assistant in charge instead. So they did. That's how Japan deals with these kind of things. They don't take it seriously. This girl has been on Twitter. She's probably got some foreign friends, and and she's trying to pull that card. It's not going to work for her here because I looked to, like I said, I went and read the Japanese case on
Yeah.
it, and she's got nothing, dude.
How are
Sh
the I know they from what well, I don't know, but from what I've heard, they've gotten a little better, but how are like the labor laws over there, labor rules?
oh
Cuz they
well,
used to be real like basically repressive, I guess would be the word to
Oh,
use.
well, they used to be, and they're a little
Yeah,
better now. And part of the thing she was complaining about was overtime. But
yeah,
the situation in Japan is um, officially there are restrictions on how many hours you work. Unofficially, you work as many as is needed to keep face.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the
And
reality.
that's pretty much the rule in America too. You know, we have, oh, you can't work more than this many hours. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially if you're a private business owner, you're going to work a lot. Trust me,
Yeah.
it's a better life to work for yourself. It is. I would never work for anyone again. However, it's a lot more work. It's a lot more time.
The big part with not working for somebody else is you don't have to kiss ass, but you have to be nice when you don't want to be
Oh
if you
well,
want to keep
don't
your
we
job.
always, dude?
Yeah, but when you're your own boss, you have to do that a lot less. And it's
Yeah, that's
just
true.
you get to be far more honest, especially if you get FU money. Then you get to be all kinds of honest because it doesn't matter anymore.
Well, that's
But
true, but I mean, do keep in mind that in my interactions, for instance, and I'm just a small business owner, right? But in my interactions, I am dealing with contractors, government officials, other companies, employees, customers. I'm interacting with all of that, and I need to present myself and control my speech in every situation, right? Whereas if you work for someone else, you only have to do that to the boss, right? So
yeah,
it actually
exactly.
there is more uh, schmoozing and more glad handing than you
Well, you
normally
have to
would do.
schmooze well, especially in Japan, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
you have to
sure,
schmooze, people in government positions, especially. And obviously, you'll have to schmooze your customers a little bit,
of course.
or they're not going to stay your customer if you
That's
treat
right.
them like trash. But that to me is far more bearable than just some douchebag who happens to be a manager at a company. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. As a man, I can't. I can't kiss that guy's ass anymore because he's not better than me. He doesn't really hold a position of authority over me. He just happens to work at the company longer than me usually, or he's the owner's
Yeah, yeah,
son or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Seniority, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
the good thing about Japan is as well. I'm sure this won't surprise you. Japanese have systemized even that, right?
of
This
course
is
they
how it
have.
goes. Now, I'm going to give you an example of a standard meeting, a government, or any kind of a business interaction. It goes like this: はじめまして、私はチェットです。よろしくお願いします. Then I take my business card, holding with both hands, not one, that's rude, both hands.
Yeah,
And I hand
that's
my
right.
business card. We exchange business cards. Then we do the bowing thing. And then we go out to a place that has little girls running around showing their panties to us, and we
I
drink
like it.
whiskey.
Well, hopefully not little girls, but yeah,
Well, for me, they're little. They're. I
like
mean, they're
20-year-olds at
adults.
least. I'm hoping.
But of course they're adults. Japan doesn't play that game, dude. Matter of fact,
I know.
over here in Asia, it's rare to have a pedophilic story come around.
Well,
It's
yeah, because
very
they
rare,
hang
like
them.
every decade. Yeah, that they
They
definitely
hang
hang them,
them.
dude. But I just think
Yeah,
it's a testosterone issue. The people here in
true.
Japan, in Asia, have a much lower testosterone, and that's why you see less violence, less sexual assault. It's just less, right? In general. But
They're
that's how
also
we interact.
basically robots. So
Well, in a way, especially Japanese. That's true.
when it comes to systemizing things, they are. Their
They are.
brains are very computational, and that's awesome. That's a benefit, but it also can be detrimental in some ways. But mostly, it seems to be a benefit. Like just that, like that process you're talking about. How
Yeah.
it's just this is how it's done. You don't veer from it because why would you? This is the system we put in place. That's the system. Why would I change it?
And
It's just
you know the cool thing about it too, because if I'm having a long conversation with someone, my Japanese course isn't going to have perfect sound. I sound like a foreigner, obviously,
yeah.
right? But certain things I do have perfect sound, and that what that yeah, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. It's perfect in its intonation, but it's also got that low, deep reverb to it. The way I say it, they dig it, especially ladies like, ooh. Anyway, I just thought this was funny. Chester just admitted he's low T. Actually, it's the opposite, Jeff. I'm not Asian, you see. I'm the high T one here. God,
Yeah,
Jeff needs
he's
to
a
pay
damn
attention.
Viking.
Yeah, you need to pay attention, Jeff.
Vikings, man. Them
But I
Vikings
just
are superhuman.
That's right. I this made me laugh. Now, this is whatever we needed this story. This is very important. Go ahead.
Oh God! Leaked images from Supergirl finale reveal the CW cut a kiss between Kara and Lena Luthor.
Well, first of all, I didn't know Supergirl was gay. When did that happen?
When she decided that she doesn't like to look sexy anymore, so
Okay, but I didn't know that was going to happen. But they cut it for some reason. I don't know. Where's your brave and bold? But it leaked out. Of course, I'd have no idea about this show. I couldn't get through even the first 10 minutes of this show. It was so bad. They have some shipping thing here called Supercorp. Oh, it's a kiss. They're kissing. Two women are kissing. Yes, they did it. Supercup kiss. Okay, Supercorp kiss. Sorry about that.
go back up real quick. Go
Yeah,
back up just real quick. 158 likes on that. That's the target audience they're after. That whole
sure.
158 people there.
Well,
Oof.
it was like Batwoman. Every character's gay. It's not just Batwoman. They're all gay. Everyone's
Of
lesbian.
course. Yeah.
It's all lesbians. Guys, one of the crew members saw that it was leaked and posted it. Last time I have Supercorp Kiss, BTS with these two badasses. Why are they badasses exactly? Is lesbian kisses badassery? I don't really know. Lots of kissing. People are very happy about it. Okay, cool. Good for you. Enjoy your product, I guess. I mean, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I just was unaware that Supergirl was now gay. I didn't know that. They did pick a cute girl though. She is pretty, dude.
She's okay. She's not ugly. Like
No,
that's a plus.
yeah. But
Because you know damn well they'll put an ugly bitch in that costume if they can.
Yeah, that's true. But this came out before all that nonsense started. Here's the thing, though. I put this up here not to laugh at it, because if that's what they are enjoying, enjoy your content. But I'm curious, why did they cut it? Why?
Who knows?
Hmm.
I'm done asking questions on why these people do what they do. They're largely all just hypocrites.
Yeah,
Like simple as that, really. That show has been a train wreck since day one.
yeah, it wasn't good. It's
I
not
would
good. It's
much rather a Power Girl show than a
Yeah.
Supergirl show, personally.
Well, and the
Uh,
Superman and Lois seems to be doing well. People seem
yeah,
to like that. I haven't watched it, but here in this article, we're talking about a little bit of sexual stuff, but it's really nothing. Mainly about overtime and fair pay and stuff like that. But someone else has an opinion. Vampire Girl has an opinion.
oh boy. Spider-Man actress Kirsten Dunst claims she experienced an extreme pay disparity with Tobey Maguire.
That's shocking to
Okay.
me that the titular character would get more money than a co-star.
I just can't
Yeah, how
believe
could
that they
that
would
happen?
pay
That's weird.
Spider-Man more money to be in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, and it's weird. Yeah, I don't get that. Yeah, Vampire Girl.
What's next? You're going to tell me that Michael Keaton made a lot of money to be Batman?
No, no, he
I
didn't.
just
The sec the
ridiculous.
secretary you saw for 2 seconds should have had equal pay. You definitely
Iron Man made a lot of money in the Iron Man movie? I
Wow.
don't. This is getting out of hand at this point. It's
Uh,
getting out of hand.
do
It's so dumb.
they don't understand how dumb they sound, do they?
They don't. They
But
don't. And
it's like,
listen,
you know,
Kirsten at that time was a pretty big name in Hollywood. But so was
well, the
Toby.
interview with the vampire, right?
Yeah. Well, not only that, she's been in a bunch of other stuff. But her and Toby had been in movies together before. Like they were child actors together and stuff in movies together. And Toby was a fairly known name at the time. That's why when he got the role, a lot of people were shocked because they didn't expect that, right? Like, look at him; he doesn't look like a
Oh, I
superhero.
see. It's because she was on the poster, therefore she's equal. That's what she said. See, I was on the poster in the second
Huh.
one. I was there. Well, yeah, you're his girlfriend. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
this is really stupid. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get paid as much as the titular character. I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah.
it's so silly, and I'm sure you were paid pretty damn well, Miss Dunst. You
Well,
know,
yeah, and she probably got royalties and all
yeah.
this other stuff like most actors get nowadays. You can thank some of the old guys for that. people. Some of those old white guys you hate so much are the reason you
Yeah.
get those royalty
Well,
checks.
let's put things on equal level, right? Let's go look at the Black Widow movie that just came out.
Mm.
You have her, and you have the new Yelena, the new Russian Black Widow, which is straight out of the comics, by the way. So did that girl, who's the new Black Widow, get paid as much money as Scarlett Johansson did? I wonder. Hmm?
No.
Anybody?
Well, and the funny thing is Scarlett even got even more money off of it
She did.
because those royalties I was just talking about, she was promised that the movie would make a certain amount, so she would get more in those royalties and a kickback, and it didn't. So she felt she was owed more money from the studio because it didn't happen.
Fair
And as
enough.
far as I could tell, her point was correct
And
because
that's
they
why
gave her
they gave
money.
her money. Yeah. But it's like all these sports ladies demanding equal pay to the men, but it's like they bring in billions of dollars, you bring in millions, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. That's the key
Um,
word.
so it's like, well, of course you don't get paid as much money.
Well, that's just because of the sexist patriarchal societies that watch these sports.
Okay.
No, it's
So
because women's sports suck.
so who's supposed to pay for that though?
Apparently, men are. We're supposed to just subsidize it
I see.
because
Okay.
reasons. No, women's sports suck. I'm sorry. There's few exceptions, but by and large, female athletes are not as entertaining because it is entertainment
Yeah.
to watch as male athletes because they're
Well,
not as fast, they're not as strong, they're not as tough. Like it's
well,
just
it's
the
just
way
not
it
as
is. I'm
interesting.
sorry.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Dumbs the name says, but she made more money than J.K. Simmons. I bet she did. Dumbs the name. Matter of fact, speaking of posters, let me do something here, real quick.
Uh oh.
Okay,
Uh oh. He's doing something. Watch out.
Spider-Man movie, huh? Poster. Let's just check it out real quick
See
here.
who you get. I bet you get Tom Holland first.
I'm sure I will. Do you have a date on that? What date was that?
Just put. There it is, right there. Right. Second over, right there. There's.
Yeah, this one right here is one. That's
Yeah.
definitely Toby's. Somebody I just put Toby Maguire.
You got a couple of them there.
Yeah,
That
but
one right
I
there.
wanted to see
Spider-Man
internet.
2
I'm
one.
looking for international posters. Uh,
Ah.
I wonder how he spells his name. Maybe like that.
Something like that. It'll come up. He's known enough. It'll come up. I did like as even though the movie was dog shit, the Spider-Man 3 poster was really good. I like that with it. It's a really good callback. It's up there at the top.
Okay. Here's one with her on it. I don't really didn't
There's
what
that one right there. The
There's
real
one right
that's the
here.
that's the
That's
famous one.
famous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't do. I wasn't didn't research and prepare for it, but I guarantee you, if you give me 10 minutes, and I dig into this, I'm going to find posters with J.K. Simmons on it. I guarantee you, especially
Oh,
the
for sure.
international ones. I guarantee you, I'm going to find it. So I don't. If that logic is true, Miss Dunst, then yeah. How are you going to make any monies with the movies? Anyway,
Well,
now,
and you can also J.K. Simmons was I would say a bigger part of that movie than she was, even though she was Mary Jane,
yeah.
because he just stole it. He stole that show.
And he went on to
And
become way bigger than she ever will. That's fair. Because
yes.
he's J.K. fucking Simmons. That's why. But anyway, this is an interesting article to me. I go ahead.
Marvel Studios president Victoria Alonso declares diversity and inclusion is not a political game for us. Listen, companies, I understand. First of all, sweetheart, the only reason you have your job was a political decision.
I
Let's
agree,
start
Jen.
there.
Yeah, that's true. I agree, Jen.
More than likely, Miss Alonso here was a diversity hire.
Well,
She's
clearly
a
she
woman.
is, and she's
That's why they
100% a
hired
woman.
her.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's interesting to me because I didn't even know the president of Marvel Studios was this lady. I didn't ever heard of her. Have you?
No, because she doesn't matter. She's a diversity hire. She's just
Okay.
there to tick a box, and then one of her underlings or somebody above her is the one who does all the actual work.
Yeah, but listen to what she has to say, though. It's kind of interesting. She's validating the vague metric of diversity and inclusion as a political game, but rather 100% responsibility for global companies. Given a speech regarding her diversity, she went on to say, "That's okay. That's okay." She continued. "We thank you for being a critic. We thank you for writing about us, and the fans will decide." True. She says, "We have tried to stir it up." Listen to this. We have tried to stir it up, and sometimes the critics are not with us because they weren't supporting some of the things they're putting out, and that's okay, she said. But why are you stirring anything up? I mean, Marvel movies are the most cookie cutter popcorn flicks you could ever find, which is great. Why would you want to stir anything? I don't understand the concept of stirring it up. Do you?
It's because they're idiots. They can't. The whole point of it is to make you uncomfortable. They'll even tell you that. They're trying to make you uncomfortable. Trying to put this in your face and make you uncomfortable so you have to deal with it.
Yeah,
No, I just won't watch.
you
Just
know, and
click.
this, but it also show, and we've heard these comments before. This isn't new, and I know you guys in the chat are saying, "Chester, we told you." I know, but here's the thing: they clearly don't understand what they think they understand about the international peoples, right? Because I am an international peoples, Thundero. I didn't know if you
You're
knew
one of
that.
them.
I am one of them. It is 100% responsibility because you don't get to have the global success that we have given the Walt Disney Company without the support of people around the world of every kind of human there is. Alonso added, an ironic statement considering the company's constant censorious pandering of LGBT content for foreign markets, which they hate, Miss Alonso. Most people in the world have a general relationship with the homosexual. Don't ask, don't tell. That's the
Yes.
general world. And I mean, we're talking 99% of the world, with that 1% coming almost completely from the West. Don't ask, don't tell. Gay people in other countries don't go around putting their shit in people's faces, and people leave them be. And that's it. Unless you're in the Middle East, and it depends on where you are, but that's a religious thing. But other than that, it's not something that is out there. Now, I'm sure some asshole is going to find an example of some tribe in the middle of the frickin' Sahara that, well, actually, their homosexuals are part, and they're held up to keep the babies or whatever. Yeah, fuck you.
Right.
That's my anthropological assessment of the situation. Fuck you twice. And of course the blind eye to human rights and stuff like that. But it's like you don't understand. Western people don't no well not even Western people, humans do not have to identify with anything. It's not necessary. When you see a character in a movie, you're not saying, "Oh, that's me." No, you're saying it's a character in a movie. It's a story, right?
Yes.
Now, I personally have no problem with you throwing all kind of colors in different movies and stuff. Go right ahead. I don't like when you keep switching shit. Make new stuff, right? I don't care about that. But I'm just
The
telling
worst
you
part
that
is
Western people, the international people, don't care.
they don't even have to necessarily make new stuff. Just make the stuff that's already there.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
want a black whatever? There's probably a version of it out there in comic book land.
Yeah.
Pick a character. There's probably been a black version of it long before you idiots got in charge of everything.
Oh,
They
clearly.
were
Yeah.
already doing
Yeah.
this.
They already were. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you have characters we talk about it all the time, like Storm, who they just snub their nose at. She's everything they say they want in every possible way. She's awesome. Everybody likes her. She would get attention if they did something cool with her.
Yeah. And other than Haley
And
Berry and her floppy titties.
and what do we get with her? Nothing.
Floppy titties.
Nothing. Well, yeah.
Although I like Haley though. But anyway, I'm just okay. Fine, fine. Now I did bring a thing up here because I didn't want to end on a sour note. Because I figured, we should have some happy news. So I found there's a website called Happy News.
I like it.
Yeah. So let's look at some of these headlines here. You go ahead and read one. I'll read the other. Go ahead.
New York baker says her business changed her life. Now she's setting out to help others. Good.
Sweet. And that's got plus 12 on the happiness.
That's good.
Bakers are cool. Hawaii Boy Scout 12 helps rescue couple and injured dog who are lost in woods. Built them a stretcher. You go, Boy Scout. That's awesome.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's see. What do we got? We'll do this one. We'll do teacher builds school desks furniture for children in need. Good job.
Aw, that only got a
Good,
5? I'd give that a 10 at least. Bigot.
good job.
Okay, sorry. Let's see here. Baby hearing mom's voice for the first time, capturing an emotional video. They got the kids kind of deaf, and they got the little ear things to help them out. That gets plus 13. That should be. That is very happy. Have you seen any of those videos where people with these new technology get to hear for the first time? Have you seen some of those?
Yes.
Dude, that is emotional. You feel for him. You of course, I'm not deaf, but I feel for him. I get it because it's so pure. It's so pure and true. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's true. It's true.
And I'm not
I like this one.
sentimental.
I like this one. Bee expert finds 800,000 wild honeybees thriving in ancient English forest.
Ooh,
Now naturalists are buzzing with hope. That is a story, the bee thing, that
yeah,
nobody really wants to talk about.
because it's
We're
dangerous.
dangerously close to ecological
Yeah.
collapse without those bees.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is true. Let's see here. Mystery jogger uses ring camera to to alert family, saves pets from house fire. Oh, I see. So this is one of those cameras they put on the front door, and when you ring it, it turns it on or something like that. I'll read another one. That one's not as interesting. Good for him though. Washington woman, dog rescued from roof of car, swept away in river. Oh my God, save the pup.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, more. I've got to have more.
Listen, look at them Serbians. Look at them. Look at them just being great people. Serbian soccer team donates World Cup qualifying bonus to sick children because they need it more.
You
I
go,
like that.
Serbians.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
But the cool thing is, I'm not going to dwell on this page too much, but there is happy news out there
There is.
every
You
day.
wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it, but the world is not as bleak as we
No.
sometimes think it
And
is.
one of the nice things about living here, and I imagine many countries like this, the Japanese do control the press just like any other country in the world. And but they control it in a very specific way. It's not as much about propaganda as it is keeping peace, right? So there's plenty of things in the West you see on the TV, on the news all the time that Japanese news would never cover, right? But the good thing about Japanese news is every day you have things like this. Every day. There's stuff that's happy and cool. Some old grandma did something, or old grandpa did something, or just something nice. Every day there's nice stuff on Japanese TV. Every day. How often does your news in the West have nice things on it?
Oh my God, I don't even know. I refuse to watch news because it's just. I mean, good lord. No wonder everybody's on antidepressants watching that. Good lord, no wonder everybody's miserable. I would be too if I was watching the news all the time, especially some of these 24-hour news stations.
Yeah,
Man, they're just dour. That's all they
they
are. That's
are.
just
They are.
there's no joy. The only I think one of the reasons why Tucker is so popular is because he's funny and he can make people laugh and he can actually bring a little, levity to
He's
these
irreverent.
situations.
That's true.
Yes. And I think that's one of the reasons he's so popular, but some of these other channels, like if you ever have the misfortune of watching CNN for a while, oh,
Yeah, no, I
it's
haven't seen CNN in
joyless.
decades. But the thing is, every day I do watch a little bit of news to just try to, keep abreast of what's going on. But I can't take so much of it, dude. And my wife doesn't say anything, but I don't want to put her through too much of it either, right? Because and that mainly I'm going to watch some woodworking thing or radio repair or something like that, as I do. But I do try to watch a little bit of news every day, but it's tough, dude. It's tough. Even just kind of watching like Fox is tough, dude. It's so
Yeah.
political, it's so negative. I tend to watch I mean, I tend to watch things more like RT or more international stuff, like Indian news. Indian news I get a big kick out of, or Russian news. Because I also have the convenience where I can put on the closed caption and I can read pretty much any language on the planet, right? I might not be able to
Yeah.
understand it well, I might not be able to speak it well, but written languages, I got that shit, right?
Right.
So I can watch pretty much anything, and I love the Indian news because they are crazy political, but I don't care.
'Cause it's India.
It's India, but they will actually cover international news, and they cover it. They'll talk about everything that's going on in the world. Right?
I like it.
Not and you don't get that. I mean, how many things are happening in the world that fuck CNN, but Fox themselves never talk about. They're
Oh, of
so
course.
stuck
Uh,
in their political punditry. If I remember when I was living in America, like 2 decades ago, and you would have news about 100-year-old woman today gets a blueberry pie cake, or some you'd have these kind of stories. International news: a sub has sunk off the coast of Australia, or something like that. Um, you don't see any of it anymore, dude. It's all political all day long.
yep. If
Uh,
it doesn't support the narrative or the message, as the drinker calls it, the message.
yeah,
You just don't hear it, and that's all sides. There
yeah,
isn't
no, it
in
is,
the
it is.
mainstream. In the I say mainstream, but that term's outdated. They're not the mainstream. In the corporate press, I call them the enemy. Um, when you watch their stuff, it's there's nothing there. It's vacuous.
Yeah, it
It's
is
just
vacuous.
rhetoric after rhetoric after rhetoric. It's infuriating actually.
You need a
Even if it's stuff I agree with, I'm just like I can't watch this. Like Tucker, I like Tucker. I think Tucker's fine, but I can't watch his show all the time because even he is very
He's
much in
really
that
pissed off
category.
right now. He's very pissed off right now, that's for sure. But I mean, you need a little bit of happiness. I want
Yeah,
that story of the 103-year old grandma and her birthday. I want the
yeah,
story of the pup that was saved from the top of the roof of the car during a flood. Those are good
that's right.
stories, man. We need that kind of thing too. Because one of the reasons why everyone's so angry and hateful right now, I understand the left is violent and illogical. I get it, but everybody's angry. There's no happy things, but there are though. There are happy things, and I don't want to get off onto a completely different conversation, but one of the reasons why the overall happiness of women is lower than it's ever been since we've been keeping records, which is a long time, right?
Yes,
It's so low because they're stuck in this constant circle of me, 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 and they have
sure.
no time whatsoever for anyone else's happiness. That's sad as shit, dude.
Happiness multiplies.
It does,
Uh,
man.
it's not a limited resource. It's not something you have to hoard or focus only on your own. Now you should focus on your own occasionally, but one of the best ways to do that is to help somebody else. And I've found that out
Yeah.
to be the truth. At any time I'm upset or depressed, it really helps me to help another person with whatever. It could be something minor, it could be something big, but it takes your mind off your own troubles for a while, lets you do a good thing, builds your self confidence back up or your self esteem, and a lot of depressive thoughts when you're really down on yourself. It's just a lack of self esteem. It's a lack of confidence.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it could be completely valid. It could not. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, all it is you've lost that confidence, and one of the best ways to get it back is to do a good thing.
Yep.
For no other
Yeah.
reason than just to do a good thing.
Pay it forward. What a great
Yes,
concept. One interesting thing on pay it forward. When I came to Japan, I realized very quickly that there is no such thing as pay it forward in Japan. Not at all. Right?
no,
You don't get anything for doing something. You don't. Now, it never really bugged me because I wasn't doing it because I wanted something, but I acknowledged it and I put it aside. And I've spent the past, 20 years here just doing things to help people because it's good. It feels good. It's nice,
that's right.
right?
That's right.
And in a way, I love the idea of pay it forward, but at the same time, if you're in a place where people are doing that, but there is no reward on the back end, it's actually even more powerful.
Yeah.
You know.
The other problem we have in the West is we have so much, and this is coming from me, probably the most cynical person in the world. There's so much cynicism on people doing good deeds to where we actually will have
Yeah,
people argue till they're blue in the face that there's no such thing as a selfless act. That is why.
not
First of
true.
all, that's not true. But let's
No.
say it was true. Who cares? Who gives a shit if the person gets emotional gratification from it? They're helping people. That's what
Yeah,
matters at the end of the day. Now, if they're not
true.
getting material gratification from it, I think you can make an argument against material gratification, meaning they're being compensated with wealth of some kind, other than spiritual wealth, emotional wealth. You can make that argument that that's a problem. But if it's only personal fulfillment, good. Why am I going to rob somebody's joy? Like that's a thing that a lot of people, a lot of supposedly religious people, have in the West. They steal people's joy, and you should never do that. As long as their joy was earned legitimately, it wasn't done through some sort of malfeasance. Uh, you should never do that. Don't take away people's joy because joy is valuable. Happiness
It is.
multiplies,
It
but
is.
joy is the thing that's rare.
Yeah.
To actually feel joy.
Well, my wife is so much like that. I've actually got to keep an eye on her because she'll go too far in that, and I have to back her up because you're giving too much, right?
Yes.
I'm the balance of control in that. I'm the more cynical one. So the fact that people don't do that naturally is not true. There's lots of people who are just naturally giving
Yes.
and loving people.
Believe it or not, I'm actually, and I'm going to toot my own horn here. I'm very generous when it comes to like with money or stuff like that with people in my personal life. Uh, to the point that I'll back in the day, even today, if they needed me to, friend, we want to go see a movie. Oh, I can't afford it. All right, let's go. Like, I'll just pay for it. Who cares? It's $15 or whatever it is. Who cares? I got that. I can afford that. Um, Stuff like that. And I think that comes from the way I was raised, especially with food. I am not somebody. There's a lot of people who are very protective of their food, to the point it's a little silly. Like when I was younger and I go over to my friends' houses, their parents would get huge mad at you if you were eating their food. Now, if you're doing it
My
excessively or
mom
whatever,
was
okay,
like that.
fine.
Yeah,
But I was raised the way I was raised. My grandparents went through the Great Depression, so the way I was raised is their house was the place that people come to eat. I'm talking
sure.
people from the neighborhood would just come in and they'd feed them, and that's just how I was raised. We shared our food,
Yeah, that's
and
good. It's
to,
nice.
that is just how I see the world. I just don't understand the idea of this is mine. I mean, I can understand if you're poor, and somebody's in there trying to take your food, sure. But these people weren't poor; they were upper middle class. They were fine. They weren't
Yeah,
hurting.
yeah, I get your point.
And it's like I'm having a little bit of chips, guys. Calm down,
Yeah.
chill out.
Well, we were talking about how Japanese systemize everything. They systemize
Yeah.
that too. In Japan, the older people pay, right?
Yes.
And it bugged the shit out of me when I first came here because I got my own damn money, dude.
Right.
I could pay for my damn self. I was like, and Junko was like, no, 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 just
Yes.
let it be. I
And
was like,
it's
all
I
right,
get the pride in that too. Like you
yeah,
don't
I
want
get
to
it.
feel like, yeah, I get that too. But
Yeah,
I've just never been that way. To this day, if people come over, which I don't particularly like people in my house, so it doesn't happen very often. But if they do, if like a family member or something comes over for a bit, for one of the first questions I'm asking, did you eat today? You hungry? You need anything? And I just get that now. My grandfather, like I said, Great Depression, World War II vet.
yeah, yeah.
He was in that neighborhood. He was kind of like everybody's dad, and everybody looked up to him, stuff like that. He was
Well,
a
you needed
pretty
people like that back then.
influential man in that
Yeah,
regard. So that whole neighborhood, which is now a ghetto, but that whole neighborhood where he was running it, basically, there was a whole bunch of young men who were just like that, to the point where I had an uncle who married into a different branch of my family, an uncle, and he was like that. If you went to his house and you didn't immediately answer, "No, I'm not hungry," he was making you some food. You better get hungry because you're gonna eat it. He's gonna
yeah,
give
yeah.
it to you.
Now, a lot of
Get
the old
ready.
people are like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think that the conclusion to my story is the fact that I'm the older guy now, so I'm
Yeah,
paying for everything now.
yeah, that's right. Listen, you got a yacht. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right. But I did well. The good thing, the thing that softens the blow a little bit, Thundera, is the fact
Yeah,
that I never deal with the money. My wife always does, and that's Japan. Women control the money, right?
yeah.
So every time someone has to go to register and pay for all those people who are at the table, my wife does it. I just walk outside and have a cigarette, so I don't have to feel it directly.
Right. You don't have to look at the number.
I
Oh
don't
my
have to look
god.
at it. I have to look at it. Yeah.
How
So
do people eat?
it's the beer really that gets you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's the beer.
That booze will get you every
Yeah,
time.
it does. But it's just what it is. It's okay, and it works that way because here in Japan they systemize everything. Like my daughter, she has a degree in university. She's got a job where she's dealing with giving people licenses and stuff. And in the long run, she'll probably make anywhere between 50 and 80 grand a year eventually. But as with everyone in that compartmentalized thing, they all start out with a very similar salary, and it's
Yeah.
low. And that's what Japan does. As you get older and work with a company, you're guaranteed to make more money, so the older people can afford to do that kind of thing, right? It's the
Right.
system itself is like that. Now my son, when he gets out, he'll start in a different higher bracket, but then again his top end is going to be kind of stupid, right?
Sure.
But I'm just saying they have systemized that, so the cultural aspect of it works. It works. I am at a point where I can afford to pay for the table, right? So
Sure.
why shouldn't I? You know?
Yeah. And I'm like that too, even though I'm younger than you. I would rather everybody go out and have a good time.
Hmm.
And if I have to foot it,
That's
then
the
that's
main
fine.
point, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Life's too short to be unhappy.
It
That's the
is.
theme of today. Life's
It
too
is.
short to be unhappy.
All righty. Well, I'm going to have to call it here, guys. I do need to get to my day. I do have some things to do today, although we're kind of in the end of a long weekend here. So I got some holidays, but I got, of course, I don't let free time go to waste, Thundera.
Oh
But
yeah.
I do need to get going. So thank you all very much for coming in. It was a bit of a fun conversation today. Thank goodness that those jurors didn't cop out and and made that boy not guilty, which is clear to anyone who has any sense. Good for that. We'll see you tomorrow. We do have some comic book stuff to talk about, and some good stuff too. We have good news for comic books tomorrow, so that'll be fun.
It's good. It's
So we'll
good.
see you then, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Thundero, take us out of here, man.
I've done this one before, but I like it. Life matters through love, my friends. And if that be so, why does loving yourself not factor in? It ought to. You're not capable of expressing for others something you do not express for yourself.
That's true. You got to love yourself before you can love other people. That is true. I'm waiting for the Yoda quotes, though.
Can't
No,
do Yoda's jumbled English.
namaste. Later, everybody.